What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to this new channel. Thank you for finding us here. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. Keep spreading the word. We're trying to build this thing out. We've got good momentum. Let's keep it up. Thank you for supporting the show. Guys, we got tour dates coming up. Next show, Bros Before Joes, this Friday, August 8th, in the Belly Room of the Comedy Store. The whole squad. We got Catherine Blanford and Andrea Jin. Then my next one-man show, Chill Towards Enlightenment, help you reclaim your stoke. It's happening at Jam in the Van on August 15th. And then we've got the Tampa Funny Bone, Tampa, Florida, September 23rd. Orlando Funny Bone, September 24th. And September 25th, Dania Beach Improv. Get your tickets at chadandjt.com. Oh, Comedy Store Main Room, September 2nd. Also, we're brought to you by the legends at Protégé. Guys, the best Loesch game in the biz for the bros, not the pros. They make the Loesch game easy and accessible for the novice Loesch dude. Use code DEEP at checkout and you'll get to try Protégé for only $10. We're brought to you by the legends at Home Chef. Guys, the best meal kit biz in the game. Guys, there's just going out to find a meal. There's so many options. It's such a, it just puts your dome through the ringer. And you're like, what do I do? That's where Home Chef comes in. Quality ingredients, great selections, easy to use. Home Chef is awesome. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/go deep. That's homechef.com/go deep for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/go deep. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. And you don't want to miss out on that. Dude, it's August. Kid's birthday was last weekend.
My kid's second birthday.
Yeah, how did that go?
Dude, it was awesome. It was fun. I was nervous, but it was really fun. It felt like a transitional moment. I was like, I'm fully...
Dude, you were having some good talks, dude.
Yeah.
You came up to me and you go, I'm in between identities right now. I was like, dude, are you doing research for the draft right now, dude? It was amazing, dude.
I probably was.
Dude, you wear Fatherhood well. You're crushing it, dude.
Yeah, it was
great.
fun.
I mean, come
it was
on.
nice. The kids had a really good time, too.
They got the pinata.
Pinata went well.
Did they break down the other one?
No.
Yeah.
They weren't ready for that. But the first pinata was the right kind of design where you just unravel it rather than bash it.
They and your mom crushed it with Jersey Mike's.
I mean, she sets up a party well.
Dude,
yes.
I walked
You had
in
your
there.
mom assisting?
My mom coordinated, AKA was in charge of.
You can see why you're such a good, like you are, you both are the party bros. You inherited that gene from your mother. Like she throws a party.
I stopped throwing
well.
parties once I moved out, basically, because I didn't have the home base that made it so easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, my parents would just leave tons of booze and leave us in a big house for a month. I was like, yeah, I can throw a party. Dude, I was like, the legwork's been
The tools
done.
are here.
Yeah.
Now it's just a lot of coordination.
Yeah, just invite some people over.
Yeah.
I was talking to your uncle, and then I look over and there's Jersey Mike's. I was like, oh no way, Jersey Mike's, and he's like,
My Uncle Jimmy, dude, he's cool.
He's a good guy.
I mean, just the way you wear those jeans on stage tucked in, man, I could tell you are fully... I know you seem like you're fully transitioning, but like you're there.
Okay, good.
And I think you just have to sit in it a little bit mentally.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was little things I did to... there's a little bit of Arrested Development where I'm still holding on to who I was. Like I had sunglasses and a vape at the party just so I could feel like...
Okay.
And my shirt was from a weed shop. Like I was like very much trying to be like, I'm a bad boy. But no, it's not true. I just... dude, most emblematic of that. I said I was going to do shrooms. I ended up not doing them.
I was wondering, yeah.
It has been 2 years now of me saying I'm going to do shrooms. There's probably been 14 false starts and I never do them.
What happened?
I don't know. I think I just want to believe I'm a guy who is going to do shrooms, but the truth of it is that might be in my past.
When the day comes, I can understand, like, when the day comes, you're like, it's a lot to do.
And the circumstances just wouldn't allow. I had to be off. I had to be back at home at 5 to watch the kids, so I needed totally worn off by then.
Yeah.
And then at noon, some new errands came up, and I was like, my window's shot.
If you're going to do any sort of substance, in the primary leading thought is responsibility, or you can't be having that. It just needs to be like, let's just go.
If I may, I think shrooms probably are the best when you also have a big activity. So you can't even, like, if you're going to, like, everyone talks, the concert, you know, a baseball game is also a sneaky great shroom trip.
Oh, wow. I've never even thought about that.
Because it's just 9 innings, it's slow pace, you're kind of going, you get a lot of, like, green visuals.
Dude, if you see a homer on shrooms, that'd be sick.
Brother, you're like, man, that lamp made a great sliding catch. But I think, that also, if you do have the big responsibility that you do, which is 2 human lives, you can completely let go of that because you're fully in the moment with the psychedelics.
True.
And I'm feeling more comfortable. They seem to be out of the woods in terms of any like developmental issues or any health issues. I mean, anything could happen.
Oh, they're doing great, dude.
But we took them for their 2-year checkup today, and their health is robust. So
that's good.
That'll create some relaxation and maybe some space for me to indulge in narcotics.
Well, you know what I think you need to do is I think you need an activity location change.
I got to be out of town.
Yeah. You got to go to the desert. You got to go.
We got a fantasy draft coming up, bro.
But then I don't want to call my fiance and be like, she's like, what'd you get up to today? While she's watching the kids, and she goes, what'd you get up to? And I say, I did shrooms in Madison. I'm staring at the lake.
But what if you tell her before? You're like, look, I'm going to the desert to go do this.
Can I? Oh, sorry, no, keep going.
No, that was all. Yeah.
Well, can I also ask? Because I hear people say, my girlfriend, she says like, we got to go out to Palm Springs and do shrooms. I always think about with psychedelics, I kind of want to be wet. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I hear what you're saying.
I think a beach. I want to be
You
wet.
don't want to be in the heat.
I want to be in the heat for sure, but like, I also want to be wet.
Yeah.
Lake Tahoe was one of the best shrooms experiences I ever had.
Yeah.
So nice. It was at our buddy Joe's bachelor party. Look at JT looking at me like, I don't know. Look, I've done shrooms like 3 times. I've done like 3 times, and I only really ever do like the first 3, but I don't go deep. I do like the first 3 bits of the chocolate bar. Okay, I take baby steps. But I'm telling you, it was nice. I could hop in the lake, hop out. They have a bar right there.
Good sensory experience.
I discovered ranch waters, if you guys know what those are.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was amazing,
What's
dude.
in the ranch water?
Basically just like a tequila soda, but
Tequila soda.
it's so dank, dude.
It's a TQ.
We're talking about expanding your dome, right? Through outside substances. But what if you could expand your dome by just absorbing another person's point of view? That's what we're drafting today. We're going to talk and we're going to draft the greatest writers of all time.
This is huge.
This is a
really
heavy
excited.
burden because who could possibly read all the great books of all time? Maybe a few guys have come close, but no one really knows. And that's why for our judge today, we're not going with Aaron.
What are we doing?
We're going with the only one who has read everything, AI.
Dude.
Oh, wait.
What?
We had an AI judge?
We're going to have an AI judge.
Is it that chick that's into
We're
you,
just
though?
gonna
Is it the AI
no,
girl that likes you?
Not that one. We're just going to go with ChatGPT and we're going to put all the books into it, or all the authors into
smart.
it.
I think that's
We're using
legit.
AI?
I also did it because
Why are we doing that?
Alec has a very romantic and solid stance against AI.
Why
so
are
I
we
also
doing
want
that?
to create some
I gotta
tension
hear this a
there.
little bit. What's your big beef with AI besides?
Besides the
it's gonna
environmental
get us.
impact that it has, like
that it's gonna
you realize every time we look up an author in here, like 3 people in Memphis are gonna like have bad drinking water for a day.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
bro.
Yeah, but even doing
Is it to run
research
the
on your
servers?
phone,
Yeah,
you're like
run the servers.
sowing instability in like the Congo. So, I mean, your soul is already drenched in external.
Bro, I know, but at
violence.
least this one's new, and I feel like I can get a good grip on it
That's a
and stop
good
while I
point.
can.
And we can put in some
Oh,
barriers.
big AI Flynn, they're saying.
Oh
something.
no, beef nips.
It's got you, dude.
Dude, beef nips will roast you hard, dude. Wait, so is it just the environmental impact? Is it what else is going on?
I think that, and I think also all 4 of us, we're creatives. You know, I think that the more and more people tell us that we have to integrate with a machine that only really aggregates all of the things from the past, and then like, you know, quote unquote, like comes up with like just whatever from the, like, I think we have to constantly be looking about what is in the present and what's in our future and what we want to see in terms of art. And I think a lot of AI, what that does is not the
Slop.
same. It's slop, dude. It is slop for the pigs.
It's inherently
And
going to
did
be
you see how
derivative.
they got out of copyright trouble because they basically said copyright comes from output. We just used it for input, but what we're giving back is like salad of everything. So no one deserves any payment on it.
Bullshit.
a
Well,
good
you're
argument,
feeding your
though.
machine with, like, if you're learning how to write a screenplay, like, you're putting Back to the Future in there. You're putting fucking Schindler's Saving Private Ryan. You're putting all these great screenplays in there. That's bullshit.
Right,
But
but
so
it's
do you
your
pay
point of view,
copyright on
though.
that?
They should pay copyright on that.
If you use ideas from Back to the Future, you personally, when you write?
Maybe it should be like a fee when you sign up for the AI platform, whichever one it is. But like, for instance, say ChatGPT, they should pay those. If
No, I'm making a different point about when a person's influenced by those things. Do they pay those people?
No,
out?
because it's your own point of view on how you interpreted the art itself.
But I mean, I also guess like you've purchased the art through the platform you've watched it on.
You've already
That's
paid
true.
for
Whatever,
it.
so you have paid for it.
Yeah.
And that's just the fee there.
Right.
So I guess like, I don't know if the
I'm on your guys' side. I'm just doing the counters.
No, I think
because
this is good.
That's how it got settled.
I think one thing, since we're already getting into books, George Saunders, one of the
greatest.
one of my favorite authors. In the ending, he talked like a little bit about like how he came up with his first book, like how he was coming up towards the end of Civil War, Land in Bad Decline.
Great book.
And he said, as an artist and as a writer, all I was doing was climbing up the mountains of my heroes. So I climb up the Hemingway
Yes.
mountain, then I climb up the Mark Twain mountain, and then you have to realize sooner or later that you have to build up your own mountain. And like you have to start somewhere and you have to build that foundation. So,
And
but
it's-
like AI doesn't do that.
But it's really interesting because what we're talking about is borrowing from your heroes to make your own things. And like Cormac McCarthy said, the ugly fact is books are made out of books. The novel depends for its life on the novels that have been written. Maybe AI is just perpetuating that same cycle.
I don't know, man. It doesn't have a point of view. It's a robot.
Yeah, we don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But George Saunders, good pick.
Yeah, we don't know.
Good pick. All right, should we get into it? Should we
Hell
get into
yeah.
the
Let's
order?
do it.
All right, odds or evens on 3, shoot. Do you know how to play odds or evens?
No.
Just throw out a 1 or a 2.
Okay, 2.
No,
Physically,
behind your back.
physically.
Oh,
He's gonna count it off and then you throw out 1 or 2.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh, we gotta go again.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Oh,
I think that's okay. All right.
Fuck.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Fuck ass.
Okay, paper, rock, scissors now to see who gets the first pick.
Rock,
Paper,
paper,
rock,
scissors.
scissors.
The two
I
learned
need
scholars
throw
here.
on the fourth
Oh,
one.
you're gonna shoot?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
We'll let the novices go.
Oh, I got the number 1 pick. Man, I always get the number 1 pick. Okay.
Yeah, it fell to a Philistine.
All right, so I
This is
think
big.
how do you rate all the books against each other? And all the
I don't think
authors
you can
against
rate
each other? I'm
that.
so nervous.
I don't think you rate them.
I'm
This is
so
going to be a
nervous. I'm
very
so excited. I
this
used Harold Bloom, the Yale professor who kind of created the Western canon, as a good guide throughout all of this. He said, what is the Western canon? All that is essential to teach to the young. And when I really think about the tradition that we've been steeped in, what we've learned, who is most responsible for shaping it, I have to go with someone who technically wasn't even a writer.
I think this is great.
He existed in the oral tradition. Some even suggest he was blind.
Yes.
Some people question whether he is responsible for all the works that are attributed to him. But for my money, the bedrock of ancient Greece and Alexandrian teaching, I'm going with Homer.
Great call.
This
Good call.
is
The
good.
master of the epic.
This is
Such a
good.
Homer. Dude, the first response are Homer Simpson.
Homer offers us in early literature the unreliable narrator, which is huge. And writing, like you said earlier, is perspective. You have our boy, why am I blanking on his name, from Ithaca? What the fuck? Odysseus. Odysseus, this guy, you can't trust him. He's biased. He's cunning. He's a fox. And so this whole story is drenched in point of view. It's point of view on point of view. It's fantastic. And it's a glimpse into history. We learn how these people lived through a narrative, which is craft.
And the other thing is, a lot of big writers, they have one major hit. This guy's got the Iliad, and he has Odysseus. I mean, that's Goodfellas and Casino right there.
Also, I have to say, big time power move to be like, yo, I'm going to talk. You write it down, bitch. That's fucking sick.
That is
That's
baller.
fucking sick.
That is
of him just being
baller.
like, I'm going to dictate. That's
and,
sick.
And so it was written in a way that was easy to remember, or spoken in a way that was easy to remember, called dactylic hexameter.
Yes.
And you could say maybe he wasn't a writer, maybe he was a compiler, a performer, but he gave us story. And his version of story is still the one that we're basing all other stories on. You could say he was the Lenny Bruce, the Marlon Brando, the person who redefined the paradigm that we still exist in. So for that reason, I gotta go with my boy coming at you 700 BC. He's still the top of the heap. he's still got it. No one's taking him off there
Arguably
yet.
some of the most famous characters of all time.
They're still
Achilles. I mean, if someone, like Nolan is taking on the Odyssey, I mean, that's something. It's
gonna be a big labor to watch.
These works of art, they're at the top. They're the originals, and and also
things like Calypso's Island, Trojan Horse. I mean, they all exist in our vernacular. They've become the norm for how we explain the world.
The hero's journey.
Yeah, exactly.
As Plato said, metaphor is the peak of genius, and I don't know if anyone did it better than my homie Homer.
And also
my homie Homer.
And also, especially the Odyssey. It's the Odyssey. It's such a good template for how to live your life of like perseverance and all that kind of stuff.
Keep pushing,
there's
and tricking people, dude.
Yeah, tricking people.
Hey,
today.
cunning is a
them,
big
dude.
thing, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, treason is the most inner circle of hell if we pick another author.
Damn.
All right.
Oh, baby.
Who's up next?
I'm
Number
up.
2 pick.
I'm up, and I'm gonna. You know what? I thought I was gonna have to hold off on this because I don't want to sound too much like a basic guy. But the more I thought about it, the more I looked through my own bookshelf in preparing for this episode, you gotta go Hemingway. And I know that's an easy one, and I know that's easy, but
Too
it's
early.
But I know it's early.
Yeah.
I really do know it's early, but I feel like I gotta take him off the board because someone will take him. And because I also think like we have to think about the author as whose they were in terms of the stature. You're talking about Homer. This was a guy everybody in ancient Greece, all the way to ancient Rome, all the way to today, knows about like the stature and the name of this guy. I think when you're talking about like my favorite book, one of my favorite books of all time, For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Great one.
I think we're talking about, I'm not really a big fan of Old Man of the Sea, but even some of the books where it's like semi-autobiographical, like Movable Feast, talking about his time in the 1920s, hanging out with F. Scott Fitzgerald, and all these people.
Breaking some hearts.
Yeah, I mean, one of my other favorite ones, In Our Time, his collection of short stories. I think he had so much range, and I think he was also able to be a just like kind of the mold for what the great American novelist is.
And kind of defined masculinity for an entire generation.
Exactly, for better or worse. I mean, towards the end of his life, I mean, he was truly, concussed and drunk all the time, which is a dangerous combo to be.
Yeah.
He was Brett Favre.
He farved himself for sure.
If he had a smartphone, he would have been sending dick pics.
And he might have had CTE
Oh,
from
yeah.
like his ambulance injury when he was in battle,
Brother,
right?
he had multiple head injuries from war reporting in the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah.
Like this guy was always looking for adventure, which I really do appreciate about him. I mean, was he the best guy? I mean, that's up for debate.
None of these guys are going to get that
None of
title.
these guys are going to get the title for, most ethical. But I will say he was somebody that I think I can... Well, Cream Jeans says Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris.
Oh,
I
really
agree.
fun. Yeah. Oh,
dude.
the actor that plays him is so good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's a good guy. I like his books, and I think he's the classic American novelist, somebody like a Homer who set the table.
Yep.
I like his style too. I like minimalistic, to the point. He doesn't waste words.
Iceberg theory.
Iceberg theory. Yeah.
There's more power in what you can't perceive.
Yeah, and that's my favorite thing is simplicity in art. I think is the hardest thing to achieve, but its simplicity is sophistication.
Greg Fitzsimmons had a great take on him too. He's like, when you read Hemingway and you read him describe dinner, you feel full afterwards. Like he gives you a sensory experience that's pretty complete.
I'm gonna give that a couple snaps.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, this is a great pick out. So we come at each other in these drafts a little bit.
Okay.
I
We
gotta
gotta
come
go
at
on
you.
him.
JT said
We
it
gotta go on.
a little early. You could have got some big
I think
time
he's a second round pick.
chalk. You could have got some big time chalk, but this is a guy you want to have on your list, so I gotta give you that.
This is a guy, and I'm strictly going from personal.
This is what means a lot to you.
I can't separate the personal from the objective fact of who the best writers are.
That's
I can't.
fine.
I think to me, if I'm combining both things that I'm considering, this is probably top.
And look, Christopher Hitchens, another writer I really like, when he talked about For Whom the Bell Tolls, he mentioned that that's his masterpiece. And the section he does on how the socialists became corrupted in Spain is some of the most wonderful self-evaluating writing ever. But he mentions, maybe Hemingway tries too hard.
I agree. I think I did also watch the Ken Burns. He did an entire series on
that.
Hemingway, and you see a guy who, throughout his life, I think, extremely insecure, but he's just like all of us. Why else do we go out on stage and we like make people want to like us? We're insecure at the end of the day. This is a guy who, like, for the most part, when he came back from World War I, like, also pretty much faked like his heroics in the war. Didn't fake all of it, but like, you know, he definitely exaggerated.
They all do that myth building though.
Yeah,
like Churchill did the same thing. They're all guilty of just being like, they know the guy they need to be perceived as to make an impact in the world.
He was overcompensating, I think, with a lot of his fishing and his, boxing and shooting, gazelle in Africa. For sure.
Because his mom dressed him like a girl. That's at the beginning of the Tim Burns doc.
Yeah, that's right. It's
There's
true.
like a photo. This poor bastard. All right, that's a good pick. We're going to number 3 now. Who's up? Strider, this is huge value here, dude.
I'm telling you right now, I have a plan. And, for writing, books is your primary medium.
Oh, dude,
I also think,
don't do it.
Like Homer did, you write and then you speak it.
Fuck.
This guy has existed. You can read what he writes, just read them, but also you can watch them come to life. I'm talking about the bard himself, William Shakespeare.
Oh, okay.
The guy is perhaps the most prolific writer of all time. He has some of the most fire quotes. We're all comedians. He says brevity is the soul of wit.
Well,
that's what you're saying, Chad, a moment ago. Also, people say, like with Homer, they debate whether he in fact wrote all of his pieces, but we will operate under the knowledge that, he is prolific no matter what. And a lot of that did come from when he was coming up in the Elizabethan era. Then there was the Jacobean after that. These were the rulers of the time, and this was the London theater scene.
And why 40% of his plays are about succession? Because Elizabeth had no real heir.
And
really?
And he had to pay off to get your stuff produced because, you need to make money. He would write to those themes, and then they would put up his works. And there was like 3 prominent playwrights at the time, one who passed away, and in fact
Marlowe and Ben Jonson.
I think maybe that would have been their names. Yeah, I forget their names. And when one of them died, the guy who was actually like the manager of the one, who was always going against Shakespeare, as soon as his big money whale died, he went to Shakespeare and was like, no, look, Bill, you were actually always right, and like groveled to him. In any case, the guy writes on all genre. He has plays about, like JT just mentioned, history and an abdication of a throne, succession. He has his great comedies, which, adaptations today, 10 Things I Hate About You, Taming of the Shrew. These are fucking beast mode things that can be adapted and modernized and enjoyed by the modern viewer because you know what it is? And this is a great quote from one of the great Shakespearean authors. He goes, "To read Shakespeare is to study a map of what it is to be human." And I think that's what writing is. You can dive into any Shakespeare's play and you will see the most human things because, after all the world's a stage and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. That's from As You Like It, Act 2, Scene 7. Also, which is baller, he has his own writing cadence, iambic pentameter. What up?
Oh, yo.
He also was big on, and one of my favorite quotes is from The Merchant of Venice, on prejudice, which is something that's going on all over the world still currently, and in this very city of ours and nation. And this is about this character
very
who's the
anti-Semitic.
Yes, but this actually...
And his conversion at the end makes no sense with what preceded.
True, that is true. But this playwright, this quote here
I'm just gonna
is
steal
against him. You got to come at me. I get it. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? So... the guy's just got a fucking all sorts of baller shit.
We don't know much about him personally. We know he was probably bisexual. He liked to drink, and he didn't like lawyers. And the idea that he might have been multiple people, they think, is because back then dudes used to sign their names different ways. It was like P. Diddy or Prince, where it was cool to have different names. So his name is written as Shagspeare, Shakespeare, Shakespeare, and we've just kind of settled on Shakespeare as the real name.
And he invented words. Did you mention that?
1,700.
1,700
That
words.
is crazy. You're
Including
right.
eyeball,
Damn, that's a good pick.
swagger, betwixt,
Swagger?
assassination, all invented by him.
Wow.
But he stole heavily. He
The
borrowed
good one borrows, the great one steals.
King Lear, another play before it, Tolstoy says it was better. In fact, Tolstoy hated Shakespeare.
Really?
It was the moralist versus the humanist. He thought he was absolute trash. He thought he was bad at plot. He thought all the characters sound the same. He thought all the characters, regardless of what was going on, spoke from the same emotional place. And he thought the fact that we all accepted him as a genius was going to be part of civilization's fall.
Whoa, sounds like he's jealous.
Maybe. We shall see.
Axe to grind. Also, I got to just finish with one more quote, and this is why The Bard is my number one. If you'll indulge me, this is from Henry V. From this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he near so vile this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed there. They were not here,
On
and
St.
hold their
Crispin's
manhoods cheap, while any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day.
Henry V, dude. Greatest war speech in history.
So, yep, and then you get, of course, the greatest miniseries HBO, Band of Brothers, because of Shakespeare. The guy is influence upon influence upon influence. Like we said earlier, books that happen today are they're inherently derivative, and
Bad
this guy
at
right
plot.
here. What's that?
He's bad at plot.
I mean, you could look at all of his works, and some of them are pretty fire at plot.
I mean, dude,
When
to
you're
come
that
up-
prolific, you're gonna have some misses.
to come up with words, I'm gonna, it's tough for me to really shout down any of these picks. I think you guys are crushing it. Dude, to come up with words, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Dude, the
Eyeball. No one had ever put the two together.
It's pretty
Isn't that
crazy.
Yeah.
dude, and then Hamlet is like, for actors, that's the greatest challenge, is to play Hamlet.
Yes.
If you can do like if someone's like, I'm going to take on Hamlet, that's like there's nothing more difficult.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Liev Schreiber says you understand psychology after you play Hamlet.
Yeah.
And some people even think Shakespeare's responsible for the inner monologue. That he's
Wow.
the first writer to really explore someone's own thoughts.
Interesting.
Like Hamlet is about his own running dialogue against himself somewhat. Same with Macbeth.
Yeah.
Never been done before by
I
a writer.
want to reread that now. I want to reread some of like the Macbeth and the Hamlet.
Macbeth is a good one. That's a good anti-hero.
Guys, we are brought to you by Bilt. By now, you've probably heard of Bilt, okay? Where you can earn points on your monthly rent payment, but did you know they make it possible for you to get more outside of your home too? If you're paying rent every month without earning anything in return, let me introduce you to Bilt, the rewards program designed for renters who want to earn something for their largest monthly expense. Let me explain. Nobody wants to pay rent, but if you have to, Bilt makes it worth it. Bilt is revolutionizing how millions think about paying rent by rewarding their members with points and exclusive benefits around their neighborhood every single month. By paying rent through Bilt, you can earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. Bilt is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent is finally working for you. Earn points on rent around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbilt.com/go deep. That's joinbilt.com/go deep. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. All right.
You're getting called out on the chat a little bit.
I am?
Yeah. Someone said, "Give me an author that tells me you've read since high school." Chad.
Well, I'm not going to do that on this pick. I'm not going to do that on this pick. Scroll up to Nantucket Buddha. Yeah, nice name, you fucking...
Getting Shakespeare in
fucking
3 is crazy value.
Yeah.
Huge value.
Huge value.
Yeah, take your fucking pastel shorts and go suck yourself. All right, this guy, there's people higher up on the list, but I gotta go with someone who I've read, I read in high school, but I continue to reread because he takes you on an adventure.
Dude, to thine own self be true.
He's satirical. He's got wit, and is there anything more American than floating down the river?
No.
That's why I'm going with the father of American literature, Mark Twain.
Damn,
I like it. I like it, dude.
Not really beating what Nantucket Buddha said,
No,
but
I know.
You're killing
but
it.
you know what, dude? you know, you can be a keyboard activist all day, but you know, why don't you go fucking? I'm not really good at shit talking.
Mark Twain is a great. You know who's good at shit talking? Mark Twain, probably. The guy's he's a master of wit.
Yeah.
And captured an era of Americana that is just. I don't know if anyone has captured that lifestyle in the South better than this author.
When you think of America, you think of Mark Twain.
Yes.
And I just love. I love guys who are whimsical, and when you think of him with his stash and just everything about him, you're like, man,
Great
that guy,
luck.
like what was going on in his dome must have been probably torture, but also fun.
And he leveled up
Oh, yeah.
the American novel too. Before that, everybody was writing in the King's English, and he said,
Yeah.
"No, I'm going to write in the common man vernacular."
Yeah,
And then he took on the great contradiction of American history, which is that all men are created equal, but we had slaves.
yeah,
And so the book really concentrates on the idea of like, is there a humanity more important than law?
yeah.
And no one was doing that at that time. That was
Yeah.
bold and brave and also enlarging for the human mind.
Also, known good guy. Didn't you try and help out Ulysses S. Grant when Grant like just sold his fucking life story, his biography to like a random dude?
Yeah, he did.
Mark Twain was like, "No, dude, let me publish it, please." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he did do that, yes.
Because Grant was
That's awesome.
Grant was the I think Ulysses S. Grant, from what I've read and heard, it was like very much a like, oh, it, like sounds good, dude. Like
It's
a
amazing
very
he was
go
the
with the flow
president
guy.
too, and the general. who
Yeah,
was like,
and the general.
great,
But
great.
he was like, yeah, that sounds good to me. But like, yeah, Mark Twain was just like, no, let me do this. I got it. And it became like a bestseller.
Yeah, didn't it like it set when he died, his wife was set financially because didn't he die like broke or
He
something?
he died from like alcohol. I'm pretty sure we can look that up.
These guys
Jake,
all had
how-
money
How
problems, all
Ulysses
had-
S. Grant died. Not to get off from the fact, but Chad, did you have anything else you wanted to add from Mark Twain?
I think just to me, is there anyone else you'd rather run into in a bar? Just having a
There's
Probably
maybe-
Ernest
there's
Hemingway,
maybe-
but
there's
I mean,
maybe one
he's
other
Yeah,
a-
guy.
sure. That could get sad though at some point.
But there's
It could
another
turn
guy who's
ugly.
might be
Right,
on
he
someone's
might-
list that
George
you want to see at a
Plimpton
bar.
talked about, he brought a cute girl out with Hemingway, and Hemingway was like trying to box him, but he was too old, and he's like, all right, let's just arm wrestle. Like he kept challenging Plimpton.
Yeah,
to,
he seems like a big like get over here kind of guy.
oh, you're a man?
Yeah.
Pencil dick? Yeah. I bet
Yeah.
you've got a bigger dick than you.
Let's go outside and fish.
All right, now we're gonna dive into my favorite thing to read about is philosophy, and we're going back to ancient Greece. Okay, and you know, there's one guy who's kind of you might consider the father of philosophy in ancient Greece, but there's one guy who wrote it all down. He wrote in dialogue form. You know, he has some of the greatest philosophical metaphors that we still use today. I'm going with Plato, number 2.
Oh yes, huge.
The Republic,
I like that you put a
Allegory of the
philosopher.
Cave.
That's huge.
That's what I like to read, so, you know, I got to do it.
Because here's the thing, and I like slight little bend, although he does have a collection of his works, you know what I mean? But like not like a novelist or whatever, but he has ideas, and his ideas are written down, and his ideas inform government, which I think is huge. And so I like this. I take it as a little bit of a bend, and I'm Avatar the Airbender over here.
The ideas still influence us today.
Big time.
I mean, the Allegory of the Cave, it's still applicable today.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess it is interesting because when you look at lists of greatest writers of all time, philosophers are typically lower on the list than novelists or fiction writers of any kind. And I guess it's because the pleasure of reading it is more with a novel rather than philosophy.
May I ask? I'm thinking, who are like modern day philosophers that we could point to and say like this guy's pushing the conversation forward on like intricate,
today.
like human related, you know, deep thought.
You will know Harari kind of, but he's
Oh,
more
yeah,
like
yeah, sure.
he's like a philosopher. Has
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he's totally that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
he's great. No, Chad, this is a great pick. Any quotes? Do you have any fire quotes from our boy? What's he? I can probably look something up.
Some Plato quotes. Let's see.
But the Allegory of the Cave is huge.
I love the Allegory. That was when I took my
I mean,
first...
that's the biggest baller one. An unexamined life is not worth living.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah. What are some...
You got to have some quotes ready for the guys you pick, bro. you can't just say anything.
The measure of a man is what he does with power.
Yeah, that's good.
Adopted
Wise men talk
sociopathy.
because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something.
I like it.
I feel that.
I like that.
Cool.
I would like to see a buff, Instagram influencer say something to that akin. You know what I mean? Men talk when they have something to say. Fools keep talking because they have nothing to say. And he like unlocks his Lamborghini Aventador and like gets in. I'm like, sick.
Yeah, then it's like the background music. It's like boom, boom,
Dude, yeah, exactly that one.
The
bass always hits boom.
It's like always that music, and they're hopping out of a Lamborghini.
All right,
Dude,
chat. Just for anyone watching on the stream, I have notes on here. Unlike chat, I have quotes on here. Dude, what if I had to rip on you? I'm sorry. I love you. Yeah. That's why I'm looking at my phone. I'm not texting anyone, even though my wife is texting me, hey, what are we planning for dinner tonight? Maybe some pasta. It's Monday. Any case, now, there's mediums of writing out there. I have the Bard. That guy's writing plays that you can also fucking just read as books, but they also get put up and you get to see it. The groundlings stand below. The masses can understand what the Bard is saying because literacy was not a thing of his age.
I mean, everyone sounds the same in his plays. He's basically Kevin Smith.
Yeah, they all sound sick as fuck. And Kevin Smith's tight. You ever seen Mallrats? The guy wears a good hockey jersey. Dude. And my next guy here, because there are other mediums of writing and other ways to deliver it. But I do think the novel perhaps might be the most difficult undertaking. Mm-hmm. And I think this guy, I like my authors to suffer. I want my authors to feel pathos or pathos, however you say it in Greece. Here, I have to go with the great Russian novelist, Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Ah, very good.
Because he does what Chad was saying as a philosopher. This guy tackles some of the highest conceptual, philosophical concepts, because I'm an idiot, so I have to say the word twice in a sentence, and puts it into narrative form and makes it, digestible, still very difficult to get through, still unbelievably dense, still tough, but he presents it in a format that is supposed to be entertaining, but therefore also unbelievably enlightening. If you want to understand humanity, just read The Brothers Karamazov. Just read that, and you will capture the human experience on page.
The Grand Inquisitor.
Perhaps the greatest chapter in all of literature.
The church tells Jesus, you fucked up. You shouldn't have given him free will. Man doesn't want that. He wants miracles and authority and mystery. The church has replaced you. It has fixed all that you did wrong. What does Jesus do at the end? All he does is give the guy a kiss. He doesn't say anything. That is the divine mystery. And to pick Dostoevsky, who Woody Allen said, if I could be one writer, I'd be Dostoevsky. Who Hemingway said, how can you write so messy but make me feel so much? This is a man who suffered.
Yeah.
He had epilepsy. He lost 3 kids early on, 1 to epilepsy. He suffered from gambling and alcohol. But he said to love is to affirm the world as it is.
Yes.
To put yourself into that frame when you're going through so much.
And to be such a negative guy and to come out, like, you think of the Russian literature as like the defeated, the suffering, the pain, and all of that is there. Believe me, all of that is there. But he does have light at the end. I think at the end of the day, he is an optimist.
Totally. Or he believes just in like the transformative potential of life.
Yeah.
If you suffer, if you confess, you can be better. And so, dude, I was thinking about it. Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov, right? He thinks he's dealing with like these kind of Ubermensch themes that were permeating at the time. And he's going to law school. His mom's like, you can't really afford it. Your sister's going to marry some douchebag to pay for it. He feels terrible about this. So he decides, I'm going to kill this piece of shit pawn shop owner. He kills the pawn shop owner. And then like the sister-in-law of the pawn shop owner comes in, has to kill her too. And the rest of the book is him dealing with that guilt. So it's about this guy who thinks he's above morality. He has to do his own thing because he's special enough to create his own worldview. What does that sound like?
Us today, every human being alive right now.
Walter White, Tony Soprano, Don Draper, all the contemporary anti-heroes, I think were seated in Raskolnikov and in Crime and Punishment.
Let's go. I love
It's about
that.
guys acting above the law and then dealing with the guilt of that.
God damn, dude.
I think it's...
You are going in on a level I've never seen before,
JT's
and I'm so here for it.
JT's fire. JT, I have to say, my pick is derivative of JT because you turned me on to that philosophizer pick or whatever. Mm-hmm. What's that? Philosophize This podcast?
Yeah.
Where the guy does a dive on...
I'm borrowing a lot from what he was breaking. But I made that... The Breaking Bad thing was my own. But yeah.
That's cool. Huge. So some quotes here. Gotta have these. The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. Purpose. I think we can all agree with that. Times of crisis, of disruption, or constructive change are not only predictable, but desirable. They mean growth. Taking a new step, uttering a new word is what people fear most. The unknown. And that, I mean, if you go to write a novel, when you get up on stage to do stand-up comedy, when we all do this, that's fear. Because yes, you have your plan, you have your bits that you're going with, but every time you get up there, you don't know what it's going to be. It's a new audience. It's a new moment. It's great fear. And this is also what I love too, because he's all about making your own choices. And he probably does believe you have to suffer or live human experience to come out with the right choice. But he goes, to go wrong in one's own way is better than to do right in someone else's way.
Yeah.
So, take a risk on yourself, man. I mean, there's so many people, and granted, you got to pay bills. There's so many things you got to do. And, I just think about working where I'm like, my manager's telling me to do this and that and that. And sure, it's fine. It pays the bills, but
yeah, it's the world is so frustrating and full of shortcoming, but hell is the inability to love. And so he's trying to say, despite all of that, can you still find a place to love the world as it is?
yeah.
It's very, very powerful stuff. Russian guys, man.
The Russian guys, dude, if Russians know anything, it is pain.
Yep.
And you know what? Great pick. I think I got halfway through the Brothers Karamazov. It was really crushing me at the time, but I think I got to get back into it now. That was a ringing endorsement.
Al, I'll tell you right now, I think the way to do it is, read the chapter, because the Grand Inquisitor is a departure from the rest, the narrative.
That's when they're both sitting down at the bar, right?
Yeah.
I started it, and then I just sit it down. I didn't get back to it. So
you could cold read that chapter and be like, all right, I read it. Because I've tried 3 times to read it and have not been able to get through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I can't say the names, the brothers' names, Sergei, all of them.
Yeah. Well, the beginning of the book is just Sergei was hit by donkey that father threw at him.
And the dad's such a piece of shit. He gives the dad his own name. The dad's Fyodor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and the dad's a bad guy. The dad's having sex with one of the kids' girlfriends.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the dad's just I pay her $3. She Blumpkin my face.
Dude, he invented Blumpkins. Dude.
He invented the word Blumpkin.
You gotta go high, you gotta go low.
Yeah.
I think the Russian. I was listening to this podcast yesterday. They said the Russians think that to laugh without purpose is foolish. If you're laughing without reason, then you're an idiot.
That's amazing.
And they don't like to vacillate between joy and sad. They like to stay.
It is so sad that we see a Russian state that is very handicapped today, yet they are responsible for so much deep cultural and human things that they write about and talk about. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm having a blast.
Well,
Let's go.
Russia and China. Those empires are thousands of years old, and so they know pain. They know that the human life is suffering. So they when they look at Americans and we indulge in hedonism or even just chasing happiness, they're like, that's stupid.
Pointless.
Life is brutal.
Yeah, life is pain, and then you die.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and prior to the Bolsheviks and stuff, deeply religious. So they thought they were marked for greatness, and the way they earned that was through suffering.
Yeah.
I mean, they also had serf. They did serfs up until 1860.
Slaves, 1861. Yeah, and that is the backdrop. They used to measure wealth by how many slaves you had.
It's crazy,
Another Russian
bro.
writer really kind of built his whole ideology off both sides of that.
Dude, they had fucking trains, bro, and they were just still talk to that guy if you want that wife.
It's crazy.
Hey, JT, have you ever caught yourself in the mirror and thought, whoa, when did that wrinkle show up?
Dude, totally. Or when you suddenly realize you look more like your dad every day and not the cool parts.
Look, dude, your face is literally the first thing people see. And unfortunately, it's the first thing to betray your age once you're past 30.
And that's why we love the bros at Protégé. Protégé have created the best all-in-one anti-aging moisturizer for dudes.
Right. It also has sunscreen built in, but not too much.
Yeah, because anything above 15 is slathering on molasses.
And it has retinol. JT, what's retinol again?
Retinol is the only ingredient scientifically and FDA approved to reduce fine lines.
That's awesome, right? Like this cute dog on the packaging. Brotage's got it all. It's got retinol to erase those fine lines, SPF 15 to keep your skin safe from sun damage, plus vitamins and minerals to keep your face feeling fresh all day. It's a true all-in-one.
And my favorite thing about Protege is that it's fragrance-free and non-greasy. It goes on super smooth and absorbs instantly. Doesn't leave any stinky white coat. You won't even notice you're wearing it, but the babes flocking towards your radiant visage will.
But you might be wondering, wow, this sounds amazing, but it's probably feeling really complicated. Probably is really complicated. Well, that's where you're wrong. Protege is the anti-routine skincare solution for bros. It couldn't be any easier. No training manual or multi-step regimen necessary. Just slap some on and go.
Wait, dude, do I have to wash my face before using Protege?
It's not required, but I recommend it. And here's something special just for our Going Deep listeners. Use code DEEP at checkout and you'll get to try Protege for only about $10.
$10 to look younger, fresher, and basically just better? It's a no-brainer, dude.
Guys, check out Protege. Support the show. Support your face. Support your skin. Protege is awesome. I got into the Loche game because of Protege, and I love it. So check it out.
All right, I'm up. Look, I'm gonna level with you here, Chad. I'm gonna level with you here, gang. I feel as though the gravity with which you guys are picking these people are far surpassing me. But I hate to say it, but I'm going to go with favorites. Let's dive into the world of nonfiction.
Dude, don't you take her from me.
I'm going to dive into the world of nonfiction. I have to do it. I hate to be that guy, but she's one of my favorites. Let's stay in old California, because I know you guys are big California heads, and we love it here. I'm going to go with Joan Didion. I have to do it.
My wife's upset. Great pick. You got this. I need
She
it.
is my wife.
She's my wife.
Detached but emotionally piercing.
Oh my God, the White Album and Slouching Towards Bethlehem. I'll also go with, if you want to go down a little bit more, I know what you're talking, you know what I'm talking about, I believe is one of the titles, one of my favorites, where she does an entire short story on Martha Stewart and the empire she's built, which I think is like fascinating. But there's so many little short stories that are about California, and specifically also about the 60s, and like to live through and write about a time that is so transformational in our history. Vietnam, you have the Manson murders, you have this sort of countercultural movement that in all ideas like has the right sort of meaning, like to bring us all together, but just never gets off the ground, and then is instantly hit with this wave of like hard, like, you know, conservatism and like right-wing ideology with Nixon and everything. I think, you know, when you can look at Hunter S. Thompson does a great job with, like, from the crazy, you know, like, I went to the fucking, you know, police gun expo in Vegas and I took benzos, but this is like, I think
he's in the zoo and she's at the zoo looking at the animals.
Exactly, and she does a good job. So, like, here's a quote that I love from, she wrote, this is one of my favorite short stories he has, called Many Mansions. She writes about Governor Ronald Reagan at the time, when he left California and Jerry Brown became the governor. Jerry Brown became the governor of California and famously stayed in an apartment that cost, I believe, $800 in Sacramento. Just not even the governor's mansion because he felt like it was too gaudy, but Ronald Reagan stayed in a governor's mansion that he built himself. And it was very, you know, 60s Ronald Reagan, glitz and gaudy. So if you don't mind, this will be a little bit wordy, but here we go. As a matter of fact, this is precisely the point about the house on the river. The house is not Jerry Brown style, nor Mary McGrory style, not our style. And it is a point which presents a certain problem, since the house so clearly is the style not only of Jerry Brown's predecessor, but of millions of Jerry Brown's constituents. Words are chosen carefully. Reasonable objections are framed. One hears about how the house is too far from the Capitol, too far from the legislature. One hears about the folly of running such a lavish establishment for an unmarried governor, and one hears about the governor's temperamental austerity. One hears every possible reason for not living in the house except the one that counts. It's the kind of house that has a wet bar in the living room. It's the kind of house that has a refreshment center. It's the kind of house in which one does not live, but there is no way to say this without getting into touchy and evanescent and finally inadmissible questions of taste and ultimately of class. I have seldom seen a house so evocative of the unspeakable.
Whoa, so evocative of the unspeakable. That is beautiful.
She pretty much like, I mean, I read that as sort of a critique, I think, also of just like the sort of the people that worship the material.
Yeah.
You know, where like this is a man that for his entire life has loved, you know, glitz and glam and starlight, and it's very evident in the house that he's chosen to build for himself. It's got the wet bar, you know, it's got the refreshment center. You know, he's the kind of guy that brings you, you know, we all know the kind of guy that brings you over to his house and goes like, check that out, tiki bar. Yeah, tiki bar. I think after that we're gonna, you know, he likes to show you about all the different little, like, oh yeah, look at this. Yeah, you can make ice now in the upstairs bathroom too.
Yep.
You know, it's almost luxury for the sake of luxury, which is very gaudy.
Luxury. I always find it to be depressing when you're in a mansion. It just feels sad to me.
Feels empty.
It feels empty, right?
Yeah.
It's she's a great pick.
I think she's a great pick. I won't say too much more other than I think when it comes to nonfiction, she's one of the giants, especially in American nonfiction. And yeah, I'm a big fan. I think it's about time we had a woman on the list.
We needed it. Thank you.
CEO.
Thank you.
And dude, I mean, you know, she wrote about her husband's death. They had a long marriage. She wrote always honestly about their relationship. And then she wrote her daughter died and she wrote about that too. So I mean, every part of life she's basically, and then my favorite by her is the Central Park 5 story, Sentimental Journeys, about those 5 black kids who got thrown in jail for a woman in Central Park. It turned out they were innocent. And after the fact, after they've been exonerated, because the whole city wanted them to go down. So she was writing about like liberal hypocrisy and just like public morality, basically. She just reviews everything that happened and she's scathing.
Nice.
And basically says those stories are what we need to live. That's what she said. We tell ourselves stories in order to live.
I think it's so true. We do. We love story. Also, quote from my wife, and I think you already touched on this. She says, no author better captures a moment in time or can so vividly capture and transport you there like Didion does.
Oh, good said.
Where she's like California in the 60s or Central Park in that era, you know, like literally can transport you there with great vivid detail and entertaining detail.
Very good.
Great pick. Dude, you're picking from my heart. See, I'm going for the
I
dub
can't-
right here,
I
but you're
can't
picking for the
stop.
dub.
You know what? That's my
I'm picking for the
problem.
dub.
Because I wish I had like better. I don't know.
All right, well, I'm up now, and look, there's been 4 great kind of chambers to the canon. There's Shakespeare's plays, Greek tragedies, the Russian novel, and romantic poetry. I'm going to knock out one of these bad boys right now. I'm going to stay in Russia. A country that Catherine the Great said was too large to govern. And the ideas that come out of it feel that way sometimes. I'm going with a master of length. Some say the creator of the pacifist political philosophy. Gandhi said he was my master. I'm going with the man who preached celibacy. He said it was better than marriage. I'm going with a guy who decided to give up all of his wealth towards the end of his life, including his kids and his wife's wealth. So they turned against him.
Whoa.
Because he had to make everybody else do what he was doing. I'm going with none other
Bill
than the
Gates.
master of realism, Leo Tolstoy.
Okay.
And
Beast.
so I got a little thing I want to wrap around here. Tolstoy trashes Shakespeare, right?
Whoa.
He goes at 75 years old. He rereads all of his plays and says he's crap. He's got no plot. Everybody sounds the same. Some German professors prop this guy up because they had no office of their own. He's shit. And he bases it all on King Lear, which he says was another play before. We don't know who wrote it. Slightly different spelling. But he's like, it's way better. The characters are way better. George Orwell later writes a takedown of Tolstoy's takedown. And basically says the reason he hated King Lear is because King Lear is about a guy who renounces his kingship but still wants to be treated like a king. Leo Tolstoy gave up his wealth and wanted a ton of credit for it, but his whole family turned against him. He is King Lear, and that's why he hates it.
Whoa.
Tolstoy writes big books, War and Peace is about individual moral choices when there's a million other moving parts in the world, and do we really have any real agency or autonomy in the choices we make? And Anna Karenina, his other masterpiece, is about happiness and is self-deception inherent to happiness. And he actually disliked his works. He was always trying to get away from artifice. He wanted things to be as real and as clear as possible. And he also thought they had to be morally instructive, which was part of the reason he hated Shakespeare, because Shakespeare kind of exists outside of Christianity. And Tolstoy said, no, you have to teach people how to live, which came from the Russian serfdom. He read early books on how you teach peasants how to behave better.
That's
but
crazy.
then once slavery got taken away, he started writing from the peasant's perspective and said, no, it should be us learning from the peasants. But he could never give up his nobility. He always felt like he was a king that deserved credit for feeling that way.
And it's interesting, like a book to teach. The Legend of Gilgamesh. It's a tapestry, one of the old, we don't know who wrote it, but it's like from fucking Babylon. Gilgamesh is a made-up character, and you have Enkidu, who's this guy who has a big cock and is seen as wild, and then Gilgamesh is the king. That is a text meant to teach kings how to rule.
Yeah.
And that's all in there. So it makes sense that Tolstoy would be like, the author's duty is to teach.
And that's why
also,
so he rejected his work. He said Anna Karenina is a magazine piece. It's just about a chick having an affair. And then he became more of a moral philosopher after that. Pacifism, vegetarianism, celibacy, all these, some things that took, some things that didn't. You can't tell people not to. But he was sex obsessed too. He was always full of contradictions, like an egomaniac who said he wanted work to have no ego.
He'd ruin a hang. If you're hanging with the boys.
The worst hang in history.
He'd ruin it.
The worst hang in history.
Hey, we're playing FIFA 4-on-4. Tolstoy's cruising over. Who's going to team up with him? No one, dude.
And then his famous quote.
Yeah. Tolstoy, you want to play die? Yeah. What's the point?
Let's play the worst teams.
I don't care about anything.
I wonder how he would feel about like the Jungian perspective of like, and I think about this too. I was talking with my wife when we were driving. She helped my draft, and she brought this up. She's like, you know, are you attached to this? And we do this as performers. We create this identity on stage, and this identity to get through life. And do we do it on a subconscious level? But by being this like self that we present to others, do you actually become that? Are we that? Or do we have a true self that lies beneath it? It sounds like Tolstoy has been in battle with that like his whole life probably. And that's why he like gave up his stuff, because he didn't like the self he was becoming and felt, but he probably was just really that guy. Like, dude, you're a successful author. Just chill.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. He was deeply Christian. He needed some kind of superseding meaning that existed outside of what the material world could offer. And he wanted books to be instructive that way. He said, and because to him that was truth. And he said, truth is my hero. He also, his famous quote, all happy families are the same. All unhappy families are unhappy in their own way.
I love it. That's some good White Lotus type shit right there. They tap into that.
All right, so that's my one pick there. Tolstoy, the hero of that. Now I'm going with the guy who created the Western novel, the first metafictional novel. A comedy written 800 years ago that still holds up, or 700 years ago. I'm going to Spain. I'm going with none other than Don Quixote Cervantes.
Oh, dude, great pick.
So this thing,
Vale.
this is the modern novel. The narrator is aware of the narrator.
Not even close with the spelling.
Yeah.
Q-U-I-X. Yeah.
Dude, check out this guy's life. 17 years old, joins the army, fights for 5 years, loses feeling in his left arm, gets abducted by pirates and sold into slavery for 5 years. Finally gets out, doesn't become a hit writer with Don Quixote until he's 50. The thing goes mega crazy. Everybody loves it. It's satirizing chivalric novels, which are all about brave knights, and his thing is making fun of brave knights. It's about a guy who's read too many of those books and now thinks he's a badass, which is hilarious. It's like a good modern story today. And then the first book takes off and goes so crazy. People start writing their own versions of the second one, so it forces him to write the second one. And then the second one starts off with the main characters aware of the first one's success. I mean, to be getting meta 700 years ago, the guy set the template. We don't have Woody Allen. We don't have Charlie Kaufman. We don't have any of these guys who we feel like are bending reality in these crazy avant-garde ways without Cervantes. So I don't know. I mean, I think it goes Homer, then maybe Shakespeare, and then for me, it goes Cervantes in terms of informing where we're at today with what we read.
That's a great pick, dude.
Huge. Have they ever try to do a movie of Don Quixote?
Well, so it's famously everyone fails when they try to do it.
It's too big of an undertaking.
One with Lithgow.
Yeah, I think they've been able to pull it off recently, but it was always the story that it was unfilmable.
Why is it? Why
I think Buñuel was the one who tried really hard. I don't know. Some stories just get that reputation that they're
like the Confederacy of Dunces. That one.
Yeah, it just becomes an urban myth that they're just impossible to pull off.
I kind of love that idea, though.
Wait, so is it Miguel de Cervantes?
Yeah, everyone just calls him Cervantes. That's just the homie's name.
Okay, but it's not Don Quixote.
And dude, kind of
That's
around
the book.
So Shakespeare died 7 years after him. Some people speculate maybe Shakespeare was aware of him.
Dude.
Yeah. Shakespeare died 7 years after Don Quixote came out. I don't know if he had any other bangers. I think he was kind of a one and doneer, but when he hit it like that, it's the ultimate one hit.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need too much just to go down with one of the greats.
How much you've contributed to culture in that one novel? I mean, it's just crazy. That's a lifetime.
That's a lifetime, dude. And all you really need is one banger. All right,
I'm going personal after this. I got so much chalk up top. I'm
personal
after this.
Are we doing 5? We're doing 5?
We're doing 5.
Damn, dude. I know, because I feel like all mine are hardcore purse. So that's why I think look, I know I've been staying relatively modern. I went from Hemingway in the 20s, 30s, 50s, 40s, Joan Didion, 60s, all the way up to 2000s, just recently passed. RIP, see you when I see you. I'm gonna go with the LeBron James of modern day nonfiction, and I'm gonna go with Patrick Radden Keefe.
Oh, I don't know this guy.
Patrick Radden Keefe, you might know him from his famous book, Empire of Pain, where that is now based. I mean, they made multiple documentaries about it. They made multiple shows about it, pretty much exposing the entire Sackler family.
Oh,
nice.
Yep. He is also another show, Say Nothing. I read that book. That was wonderful. He's also a Boston guy. Shout out Dorchester.
He's only 49. He's killing
only
it.
49. This guy has been crushing it in terms of creating nonfiction. That he created a crazy novel. I mean, not novel, book about the Mexican cartels as well. But like, he is absolutely on fire right now in terms of investigative, hardcore, like journalism and like just creating a narrative. Like we talk about, Joan Didion, she tells these stories, right? She tells these stories in order to live, but like, this is a guy that's not necessarily, I think, trying to weave in his own prose and weave in his own like point of view on the matter, but the stories that he's telling and the information and details that he's putting in at the perfect moments, I think weave this beautiful story. Like Say Nothing, for example, was a story that pretty much chronicled the entire chronology and series of events of the Troubles in Ireland. And throughout that entire story, he is weaving in the story of a family that had a family of 5 kids. I believe it was 5 or 7, whose mother was disappeared by the IRA. And just throughout the novel, he's adding in they're still going and trying to find out where she is. They don't know where she's buried. And like towards the end of the novel, there's finally closure with this family in the 1990s, where the IRA finally admits where this secret burial plot is.
Whoa!
It's this guy, I think, is really, really solid.
So he's taken he's putting you into a genre mystery movie, but with real life facts.
Yes, exactly. And I think the stories that he's creating are very powerful. And I think they have, I think, a certain weight to them reading them now, because we can point to these events and go, oh shit, like this is going on. Like, I mean, the Empire of Pain was the big one where you're like, oh, well, this is years, like not even years ago. Like this was happening now.
And it had, so did he write Dope Sick? Is that the Sackler book?
Yeah, not Dope Sick. Empire of Pain.
Right. And so, that had genuine impact too. Mm-hmm. I mean, that they went into litigation and they got hit with a massive number. So you got to believe that some of that nonfiction writing helped inform that.
I think this guy is he's the LeBron right now of nonfiction. I think this dude is on a generational run.
Love it, dude. Going personal.
Let's
That's
go.
What's up, dude. I've never read Cervantes.
And introducing us to this guy, yeah, dude, I can't read. Okay, so guys, I'm sort of doing something here. I don't know if you've noticed, but I got my playwright. Then I've got my novelist. We're drafting writers. There's different mediums for what you can write for. I think if you can write and then you can fucking speak aloud what you've put on paper and orate it, I think there is no one better at this. And if you just read these, they stand alone. I'm talking about a speech writer, a writer of speech. I'm going to go with MLK.
What? I mean, that's crazy.
Martin Luther King.
I I'm also going
Junior.
to absolutely allow this because
This is a bend. I'm bending, and I'm bending early.
I don't even think you're bending because he is also a published author.
Thank
Dude,
you.
you were crushing it, man.
Thank you. I am still crushing it. Just because there's authors of books that could still be on here, I'm doing something
You know
with
what's
my
so
list.
smart about this pick
I'm
is
doing
that
something
even
with
if you
my
don't
list.
agree he's a writer on par with all these other guys, no one ever picks against MLK.
Yeah.
It's not
You
allowed.
can't.
You just protected yourself.
Good luck. You just put on a bulletproof vest. Good luck saying MLK isn't good with the words, my friends.
Brother,
Good luck.
I'll say this: Where Do We Go From Here is one of my favorite nonfiction books of political philosophy I've ever read, and I think it's fucking powerful.
Yeah.
He wrote that while he was in jail in Alabama.
That's the collection. His collection of speeches from when he's in jail.
it's not
in
a
Alabama.
speech. It was
Oh, yeah, his writings. Yes,
His
his
writings.
memoir speeches.
Letters from Birmingham jail, right?
That's it. The lettings from Birmingham jail. I had to read that in school, and that was one of the best. I mowed through that. I'd like never mowed through a book. It's incredible.
Did he write his
Al,
own
what's up?
speeches?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he bounced some
Nicolas
ideas
Cage
around some other prominent
is-
individuals. But I'll tell you, the guy
I mean,
writes about
nepotism. His dad was in the game. He might have jumped the line in front of a few other people.
exactly, dude. Junior, dude, hilarious. So the guy, Chad, if you type this into AI and you want to get some quotes from MLK, they're gonna hit you with. Oh, do you want quotes about the importance of hope, love, the nature of progress, the urgency of action, the true meaning of peace, speaking out, the nature of power, a path to justice. The guy writes about all this shit. And he lived it. He walked it. You can't write until you've walked. This guy was writing while walking. Bang, motherfucker. I'm taking him at
who
3.
dares sit down to write that has not first stood up to live? And he embodied that.
Thank you.
He was about that action.
100%.
Some of these other guys, yeah, you're strong at the desk, but where are you at when it really counts?
And we all read from where we stand. So sometimes you're reading something and I grew up in Orange County, comfortable little white kid with wore khaki pants, tight little butthole.
The
you know
most
what I mean?
comfortable.
Yeah, big time. The softest butt you ever met.
okay.
And it's tough to step outside of your own little bubble is what I mean when you're writing.
And
Okay, come on. He took you right there.
this is a weird thing, but hey, to the interview we did last week with the Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, I should have pushed her harder on her personal wealth. That's a personal weakness of mine because I grew up in Orange County and I'm spoiled. And I also should have pushed her harder when she squirmed out of certain questions with laughter. But overall, I think the core competency was good in the interview. Continue.
Love that. Please. That's it. That's all I have.
I want to add a little bit because I think at the end of the day, we're in this for fun and we're in this about because we love reading and we love learning. My book that I'm reading right now, How to Blow Up a Pipeline. It's a little bit of
Big Al's a radical.
This is Big Al scaring the hose summer reading list. But How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Martin Luther King, when he wrote on the distinction about like urban riots that were going on in 1967, right? Mm-hmm. The distinction between like that sort of property destruction and like sort of violence in general, right here. Violent they certainly were, but the violence, to a startling degree, was focused against property rather than people. And within this genus of violence acts, this makes all the difference. A life is sacred. Property is intended to serve life, and no matter how much we surround it with rights and respect, it has no personal being. Why were the writers so violent with property then? Because property represents the white power structure which they were attacking and trying to destroy. How to Blow Up a Pipeline by Andreas Malm. Check that out. I'm enjoying it.
Legend.
A lot of like this book also tackling like eco-terrorism. They're like, we have to have like actual definition of terrorism, which I think there's a difference between like somebody going into a church versus like somebody blowing up or like cutting a hole in a pipeline.
And then, Dostoevsky posed an interesting question about radicalism, about activism. He said, if instead of spending 2 hours a day fighting against external villains, what if you spent 2 hours a day dealing with the things that constitute your life? So I'm somewhat countering you here. What would make the world a better place? What would be more radical? If we did fight against political injustice, or if we only fought against the things that were wrong in our interpersonal life? If everyone did that, what would prevail?
Gandhi himself has said the greatest thing you can do is to change yourself. That's the most difficult thing you can do is to change inside. Also,
A mom wanted to get her kid off sugar. He said, come back in a week when I'm off of it.
That's it, exactly. And I forget who said this. It might have been Jefferson, but he said, maybe not, but it's much easier to fight for your principles than to live by them.
Yeah. Well,
Yo,
I mean, Jefferson's the king of that.
Free Luigi cream jeans. Free Luigi. You know what it is.
I forget.
No, the audience is going to agree with you. I'm just being a fucker. Yeah. All right, who's up? Chad with 2?
Me? All right.
I have to rip a piss. Should we wait?
Go, baby, go. Just go piss. We got to keep going. We got to make it funny, too. Are we being funny enough?
Oh, yeah, we're being funny.
Okay.
We're having fun. That's all that matters.
So what else is going on?
Dante himself was a rebel. He was exiled from Florence. He hated the religious, the Black Bianchi, and he wrote the Divine Comedy criticizing them. And he didn't write it in, this is a common thing, he didn't write it in Latin, he wrote it in Italian, so everyone could understand it.
Beautiful for the masses.
And do you know when Florence finally forgave him? I think like 10 years ago.
Really? Yeah. They can hold a grudge, the Italians.
It took a while. The church is strong there.
You know, they string up their guys by their toes. Mussolini, you don't want to...
Yeah, they're passionate guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Wrath is in there. Wrath is in the circle. Dude, Dante, he met a chick when he was 9, just once, right after he lost his mom named Beatrice, and she became the love of his life. I don't think he ever encountered her again. He maybe saw her twice in total.
Really?
Really?
When
Yeah.
he was 9?
Mm-hmm. It was like his neighbor. But he just romanticized her to such a degree.
Did he have a wife?
I think he did. I think he went on to live a normal life, but she was always the one he was chasing.
Damn.
Her name might not even have been Beatrice, but that's what he called her.
Interesting.
Who'd you go with?
That could have been my first grade teacher. No, I mean, that was my first love.
Dude, my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Waterlander, what up? Looked like Pocahontas.
For real?
Babe, yeah.
When
When did I become sexually activated? Like, when did I, like...
well, that still hasn't happened yet.
Dude, shut up, dude. I'm horny, dude.
You're not horny.
It's true.
You can't write, dude. You can't write unless you're horny.
I'm not even horny. That is so true. All of these guys were horny, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, very horny.
Everyone on here horny,
possessed
dude.
by the devil of it.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta be horned up.
That's why lust is only the first circle of hell in Dante, because he gets it. Everyone's got it.
Exactly.
He's like, all right.
But in hell, you can feel it, but
What
you
do you
can't
do on the
touch it.
first
That's
circle?
the
Just
punishment.
is the first circle just edging?
The first
Yeah,
circle, exactly.
yes.
You can feel it,
It
but
is?
you can't touch it. Exactly.
So brutal.
Yeah.
All right, my next pick, I'm staying in the philosophy realm. You know, I think one of the biggest questions we all face is, what's this all about? Why are we here? Existentialism. What is going on? What's the meaning? Well, you know, we live in this world. It's chaotic. We're like, is there any purpose? Why are we here? And I love writers who take that on. This guy takes it on, and he has the myth of Sisyphus. The Plague. I'm going with Albert Camus.
Oh, dude, let's go.
Camus 3.
The Stranger, brother.
He says
Stranger's good.
that, you know, the world may be chaotic and meaningless, but we find our own meaning. We make our own meaning. We live with love and we live fully. And I love that message. And, you know, I think he's speaking, you know, he's a more contemporary philosopher, 20th century. And I think it's one of the most important topics we can take on, because I think it's something that we all think about at least when we turn 16, 17.
No, he was getting after it.
He was good. I like the Stranger. Also, it's got me thinking about the Billy Joel album. I've been watching that documentary.
Ooh.
It's really good.
The Plague too.
The covers, I mean, the photos of him smoking cigarettes are incredible.
Yeah, they are. They're nails.
Just top smoker. And that's such a good title to have.
And
resisted being called an existentialist, right?
did he?
He said, I got my own thing. It's absurdity.
Absurd.
I mean, it's all- it's all
the
part-
philosophy of the absurd. That's
Kit and
right.
caboodle, but you know, the classic of a thinker to be like, don't put me in that box. I got my own box. I would do that if I was a thinker.
I mean, how often do you like you like that other comedian we know? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
People are like, you should watch this guy.
Yeah, you should watch this guy.
Yeah, I'm familiar, dude. Thank you, though.
Big Al Camus. Yeah, dude.
But I do like that message of find your own meaning, do things because they're the right thing to do, and I like that he can.
If what
convey
you
that
do
to us
doesn't
in
matter,
words.
then all that matters is what you do.
Yeah. What is?
That's a bar. That's a bar.
Okay,
Take that from
so
Mike Kaplan, the comedian.
one of my favorite quotes from his: "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer."
Bro, that is you, dude.
Yeah. Find the
Wu-Tang
stoke
Fu.
within. Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast. Let you know once again that we are brought to you by Legends at Home Chef. Home Chef is the best meal kit biz in the game. They, you know, you can get so every time you get the question, what should we eat tonight? What should we eat tonight? What do I need to get at the grocery store? It takes up a lot of your time, and it takes a lot of your brain space, you know, and then to try and prep a meal, to try and figure out how to make a meal, can be time consuming. And if you want to streamline that whole process, check out Home Chef, because they've got great ingredients. They've got fun recipes, delicious meal kits delivered straight to your door, so you don't have to go to the grocery store. And I've made the friggin' steak with mashed potatoes and green beans, and it's so good. Then I made the spaghetti bolognese, and then I made the frickin', you know, chicken piccata. I made a ton of shit. Can I say that? I made a ton of stuff.
You can say shit.
I made a ton of shit. Home Chef delivers fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes conveniently to your doorstep to simplify your cooking experience. Users of leading meal kits have rated Home Chef #1 in quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/go-deep. That's homechef.com/go-deep for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/go-deep. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
Let's go, bro.
My next pick, I'm going to go with him. You know, this guy is the master of modern fantasy, of world building.
Oh, good, y'all.
This guy, you know, created one of, you know, he wrote the books that created one of the greatest trilogies of our time. And it's just world building. Is there anything more fun than diving into a book and you're in an entirely new world? And it has philosophical meaning in there. It's adventure, great characters. I'm going with J.R.R. Tolkien.
Tolkien, fuck yeah, dude.
Very good.
Lord of the Rings. I was talking to my
You're going with
lady
Harry
about
Potter.
this.
J.K. Rowling.
I think that's
I'll go with J.K. Rowling.
She built a world.
After
Bitch.
100
back,
years, it's
dude.
still top shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy? So I think this is the disrespect that genre gets, is
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't put him in like the top 10 writers of the 20th century. And I think a lot of that is because he wrote in fantasy, and people
Yeah.
don't respect that the way they do like a literary novel. But dude, he created his own language.
Language, a world.
That you can live in.
Yes.
Like people literally submerge themselves into it and want to exist there.
It's escapism. It's. Is there anything more fun than than reading a book and you're transported to an entirely new world? That's what we all want.
Correct.
Especially when
Yes.
you're you know,
Correct.
when you're listening to your manager or you're trying to figure out what to eat for dinner, you're like, why don't I just go into a world filled with wizards and orcs?
And people are saying he ripped
And
off
elves.
Beowulf and some other word I can't pronounce. Look, and all these people ripped off other people. The novel depends for its life on other novels. The point is, can you take that voice and make it vanish into your own, like Bones in the Desert?
Yeah, and if you're ripping off Beowulf, which is like how many years old? 1,500, maybe
I haven't thought of
3,000.
Thief before. It drives
Like,
me
I'm
nuts.
sorry. If you've got a good take on Beowulf, like, you're allowed to rip off Beowulf, dude. I'm sorry,
if
bro.
you've borrowed from something that obscure, if you've done
Yeah.
the work to find, I mean, dude, a writer I'm going to take later, he borrowed stuff from like nonfiction work about the Glanton gang in the 19th century. If you go in there and you find out how gunpowder is made and you take that verbatim, I'm sorry, you did the work to find it. I'm not
Yes.
holding it against you,
Are
brother.
you I think are you okay, I think I
You
know
can
what you're
take
talking
him,
about.
take him.
No,
I
no,
just
I'm not
wanna
gonna
talk
take him.
about him. Yeah.
But he does deep dives into like, yeah, okay. He's good. Fuck.
And from
And
Milton.
he said-
yeah.
Dude, pull up Gandalf quotes, bro. Gandalf's got some banger quotes.
I have some Gandalf quotes here.
Go Gandalf, dog.
I love that
I will
shit.
not say-
All right, I got my
I will
my
not
next
say
one.
do not weep, for not all tears are an evil. The gray rain curtain of this world rolls back and all turns to silver glass. And then you see it. And
says
no,
some
the journey
good-ass
doesn't
shit.
end here. Death is just another path, one that we all must take.
Dude, what about the motherfucking Gandalf line? You shall not pass. You
shall not pass. You shall not pass.
It doesn't get any better than that, dude. There's a big motherfucking goblin coming at you and your homies. You shall not pass, dog.
Dude,
Have fun on your way to hell, bitch.
and also it's like we watch Star Wars or we read these books and you're like the level of detail. I mean, to have that all in your dome,
It's insane.
to create new laws, new rules, mess with physics, whatever it is, magic is to have that all in your dome and put it down on paper. I think that's
I know.
And
very few possess that talent.
Yeah, and the influence that had.
Yeah.
You don't see your little brothers running around doing Tolstoy or doing Dostoevsky, but your little brothers will run around and do
That's true.
all of Lord of the Rings.
That is true.
That would be the whole bachelor party.
I mean, that when I was young, Lord of the Rings came out. It's like The Hobbit was one of the first books long books I read, because that gets young minds into reading. It's like, do you want to have fun? Read this, and then you can get into the more serious stuff.
Keyhole shit, bro. Yeah.
Man, it is cool. Just like those guys, I always think they must be day to day so inside of their own head and just in this world of imagination that I think must be kind of like freeing.
Yeah.
You know, just to be like, man, no, I live up here.
Yeah.
And this place, people don't judge me. I don't have to pay $6 for a coffee. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, and you can kind of make the world as it should be. You have that kind of control. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And also, you go to Disneyland, you see someone wearing a Jedi outfit. It's like you're giving people something.
Oh yeah,
You're
totally.
giving a virgin.
Yeah, a grown adult.
Dude, I saw that.
Yeah, with a 500-pound wife. Sorry. All right.
At Disneyland?
Yeah,
That's a great description,
rude.
dude. I remember I was there one time on shrooms, and I just saw this big fat guy eating spaghetti, and I was like, I got to get out of here. It was like all that I found wrong with contemporary life. I was like, please,
Also,
please.
eating spaghetti at a theme park, insane.
That's the thing. It was just
Insane.
chopped noodles with like the lightest red sauce, and I was like,
Hilarious.
there was just not an authentic thing inside.
Get yourself in handheld.
I love
man.
when an adult hits you with, no, but you can drink everywhere at Epcot.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
brother, you're
But it is
missing
sick.
Do you
a
think
bad-
he's a Disneyland guy?
It is sick.
Oh, no, you're a Disney guy?
I
Oh,
love
the
it. I love
biggest.
it. I love it. Yeah.
When we
Dog.
went to Epcot, when we went to Orlando.
Yeah, dude, drinking around the world. Come on.
It is fun.
It was
Going
fun.
around the
It
world.
was fun.
Yeah.
And that
It's called
Ratatouille
fun,
ride.
Al.
I know.
They're
I know.
using AI on the
Yeah.
They're using AI on the
I know.
Ratatouille ride, dude. It's pretty sick,
Yeah,
bro.
it's-
$1 billion enterprise.
Yeah.
This money
Alright.
could not have been spent better
Yeah.
elsewhere.
It's
So,
something
yeah, no,
called, it's
that's where
something
money
called
should
fun.
be going.
You're right. I can't poo-poo it.
One more thing about it, dude. The sadness that this guy felt when he realized we didn't have enough time to do the Guardians ride.
Oh,
We
bro,
had to
yeah.
get to Tampa for the next show. He's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Bro, it's a 2-hour drive. We got to
You'd
hit
be
it."
late.
The show.
The audience will understand, dude.
It's our
We got to
show.
go on Guardians.
Yeah. Do they want us to be happy when we get there?
All right, dudes. For my next pick,
Martin Luther King.
another medium of writing. Here we go. Another medium of writing, dude, is writing to yourself. Is journaling.
Oh, wait a
This
minute.
guy perhaps had the most fire
Let's get-
journal
great pick.
of all
my
time. No,
God.
you think I'm going to go with a Western guy. I'm going with the Eastern guy.
Oh, nice,
Who
dude.
had the most fire journal of all time. I'm going with Confucius, dude.
Ah,
and I'm going
okay.
with his Analects.
Dude, you missed a great pick.
But the other
Interesting.
guy...
No, huge opportunity to take a chick and do Anne Frank, bro.
Oh, you're right.
yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought
That's
you were
where I
going
thought
with.
you were
Huge.
going, dude.
Would've
And
been-
then you would have been protected like with the MLK
Prodigy.
pick.
Wow,
He was
dude.
gonna pick
Yeah.
against Anne Frank and MLK.
Yeah, even AI would have to concede
Yeah,
to
it was
that.
like,
And I would be
Even
like,
whoa, dude.
damn, I might look bad if I
Yeah.
go against this computer. Dude,
Unless we use Grok.
we need an Eastern writer on here. This is a prominent Eastern philosopher, 500, 600 BC, somewhere in there. This guy's getting it done. In his own life, lived a writer's life, worked a lot of odd jobs, came from an unwealthy family, grinded, was smart, sort of worked his way up, but never in his own day was celebrated, and perhaps became the voice that influenced Chinese culture greater than any other voice. And also China, ever heard of it? Yeah, pretty big part of fucking Earth, dude. If you are a writer and you want to influence other humans, maybe no guy's influenced more humans in the world than Confucius, dude.
It's in
he's
our
a beast.
vernacular. Confucius say.
Confucius say. In our culture, we bastardize it by putting his sayings and paraphrasing them in
doing
fortune
funny
cookies.
Chinese voice.
Like, yeah, if you're a bad joke, right, you do Confucius say, and then like you add penis after all of it.
Yeah,
Right.
you should say, go to bed, itchy bum, wake up, smelly
You
finger.
take his collectivist brilliance and you just filter it through our individual capitalism and just pervert it
And he had to live.
until it makes you sick, until you want to come on it.
you want to just jizz
Just
on
until you
it,
just want to
dude.
destroy it and dominate it in the most primal of ways
you want to?
to show our superiority
Damn,
and
all right, man.
our
All he was-
cynicism.
All he
Easy,
was doing
easy.
was creating an ethical and moral code.
Take it easy.
I'm so pissed.
Yeah, JT's pissed right now.
I'm so pissed. I don't know what's
You're
going
so
on.
horny. I'm not horny.
You look at you're bunching up in a ball. You're literally bunching up in a ball of anger.
Can't handle it.
Perhaps, like we're saying right now, Confucius touched upon this. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. This is what we're talking about right now with, saying penis after his quotes or something like that. He's also got fire-ass quotes about just the grind, which we're all on. It does not matter how slow you go, as long as you do not stop in bed. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. He's got fire. He's got about 1 billion of these fire takes that influenced leaders of China, which has the longest documented history, maybe besides longest ongoing documented history. I think 5,000 years of documentation. Egypt probably goes back farther, but the empire has changed hands many, many times. But the Chinese, I guess, government exists still in one degree to its own state. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, Confucius did know what he was saying, and he was a fucking beast, dude.
I like it.
The greatest journaler, perhaps, of all time.
Good pick.
I don't know, man.
I'm going with mediums of writing here, dude. I got plays, I got novels, I got speeches, I got a journal.
And you know what? You've got me going on my own idea of a form of writing here. And I think something that, as we dive deeper into fascism in America, it is more important now than ever for good journalists. So let's talk about a journalist that, hey, you know him from one of the biggest, scandals of all time, Watergate. I'm talking Bob Woodward.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
I'm going to throw out Big Billy Bob Woodward. You might know him as the guy that broke Watergate, had all of the deep throat. He had his sources, and a guy that still is doing it today. Okay, he's still making it happen. One of my favorite books from him was you can look back. I think it's Bush at War, right there. So yeah, State of Denial. Go to State of Denial on there. But this guy, if you want to talk about the Fifth Estate holding our government accountable, this guy has been doing it for a long time and has been doing it the right way. State of Denial is one of my favorite because this book pretty much just outlines how the government under the Bush administration lied about the Iraq war and why we were going in, and just outlines the timeline of events. And a lot of this, again, I hate to be a guy that's just going straight up about I like the facts. I like this guy laying it out perfectly, but his resume speaks for himself. He's objective, and he's going to show you exactly what is going on in the inner sanctums of the United States government and the people that make decisions about our lives. And I feel I've gone very Western. I've gone super American, super modern this entire time. But
it's where you stand.
I gotta say it. That's where I stand. And I think, the journalism thing, I think is very important.
I mean, if you look at Watergate, impacted the world. I mean, changed the course of American life. He was part and parcel of why Nixon got out of there. And then what I think is so crazy, I read his book, Fear About Trump. What I think is so nuts about him is that he's going to write a book about every president. And every president goes into office knowing he's going to write a book about him and tells his whole staff, don't talk to Bob Woodward. And every time he still gets it done. He gets the information.
Done, dude.
He still gets the secrets. And every time it comes out, a president is like, how the hell did he find this out? It's because he's a dog, because he's got connections that he's built on trust, and because he knows how to put it down, and people trust when he does put it down, it'll have an impact.
Exactly. They trust him when he puts it down. I think he's still one of the best doing it. When he's an older guy now, I think he will be missed. He will be missed.
Yeah, who's going to carry the torch? Who's going to carry the boats? As God
exactly.
All right, I'm up. All right, you guys, I mean, I could really just secure the dub here. If I went like Dante and Proust, it's over. AI is just going to say, you got basically 5 of the 8. But I'm going to go personal here at the end. First up, I'm going to go with a guy I've been quoting throughout. A guy who, borrowed, but also was just... He borrowed from the Bible, which Harold Bloom says...
The freaking Bible.
Harold Bloom says all the books in Old Testament are good except for Leviticus. And Harold Bloom posits... This is a different point I'm making. I'm all over the map. I just got too much to say. Harold Bloom also posits that Exodus, Genesis, and Numbers were written by a woman.
Whoa.
A high priestess in the Council of Solomon. And so I don't know how they came up with that, but he's like, if you look at the psychological detail, the informed perspective, that is a woman. This guy, though, borrowed from those Bibles. And when you read his writing, you swear you're reading scripture. I'm going with the chronicler of Western violence, of barren loneliness, and of the inextricable blood that settles our land. I'm going with Cormac McCarthy.
Beast, dude.
Beast.
I've read The Road. I read All the Pretty Horses. All the Pretty Horses is great because it's him being romantic. And when you take a guy who's punished with sadness like him, it's lovely to hear him just say, I looked at her and my whole heart changed in a moment. Like his prose can be purple like it is in his masterpiece Blood Meridian, but there's also just simple stuff about being in love, and he's kind of a man for all seasons. I think it's cool too. Guy is 46, living in a motel, got nothing going on, burning through different women, dating a high school chick at some point that he remained friends with, so who's to judge? But and then he finally hits it big. I think his other authors supported him. And then
He was from Pravi, dude? No way.
All the Pretty Horses comes out in 92 and makes him into a superstar. But that's at the age of, what? He's like 60 when that happens.
Yeah.
So I love that. I was talking about how he stole. He talks about in Blood Meridian, the judge who's like the evil character, the devil basically. And like Milton, he makes the devil irresistible. He's powerful and seductive, which I think is so interesting. God is always great, but the devil is the one you want to pay attention to. And he takes him out into the desert and he teaches him how to make gunpowder. And I was kind of borrowing from him earlier. At the end of teaching them how to make gunpowder, he has them piss on it. Like, he just makes it so elemental and raw. The whole book is just littered with violence, but it's beautiful violence. There's an aesthetic genius to the violence, and that's what he's combining, these two things that shouldn't go together, and that's what makes it so special in all of his writing too. And then The Road, about just a post-apocalyptic world and what is hope, like how to, and even now, you talk about how things are hard in modern times. I mean, there's different perspectives on it, but like, what do you give to your kids, like the parental anguish in that? So for me, he's one of the most genius writers of all time. He's probably our greatest writer now. And then he wrote No Country for Old Men. So
I was gonna say, dude, fire, and talking about like violence and stuff like that. Yeah.
True beast.
So good.
He's really good. And I mean, fuck. It reminds me, I've just finished reading Dennis Johnson, Angels. Very much an influence. I think just to chip off the old Cormac McCarthy block. I think a little bit.
That Western ethos and that just kind of like crazy drug-fueled dream sort of dialogue.
It feels as though like their characters are always just these people who, like, without any, their life circumstances have led them to have nothing, and the only control they feel is through violence.
Oh, dude, well said. Yeah, nailed it. He's some good quotes from him. Scared money don't make money, and a worried man can't love. He thought that in the beauty of the world were hid a secret. He thought that the world's heartbeat at some terrible cost, and that the world's pain and its beauty moved in a relationship of diverging equity, that in this headlong deficit the blood of multitudes might ultimately be exacted for the vision of a single flower.
Dude, if you say scared money don't make money to your father-in-law or like your girlfriend's dad, and then he goes, I like that, and then you go, yeah, Cormac McCarthy. He's your bitch now.
You're in the pocket,
he's gonna love you now. He's gonna be like, please bone my daughter.
Please bone my daughter.
Your wife, my daughter, please bone.
Do you like cigars? I have those.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this is
him trying to quit.
This is the biggest quote by him. I'm about to blow your mind. We're talking about stealing, borrowing. Guess where they got this from?
Oh, dude. Just to feel.
The scars remind us that the past is real. That's Cormac McCarthy.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
That is the bow.
That is fire,
on my borrowing
dude.
discussion. He borrowed from Milton, from the Bible, from history. And did you know that Papa Roach was reading Cormac McCarthy?
I do now, brother, and I'm greater
Come
for
on,
it. Thank
dog.
you for that.
That
dude.
was ready to rock, dude. I know you had the Spotify up, so.
Dude, when I said it, I was reading them and I go, wait, he said the scars remind us that the past is real. And then I pulled up, I was like, did Papa? And then we're like, yeah, that's where Papa Roach got it from. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Good art influences good art.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why we can never trust AI.
Who knows where Last Resort came from? I mean, that could be my next
This
author.
is my last resort.
I'm going with another contemporary guy.
That's Toni Morrison.
The last resort comes from last resort comes from the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
All right, this is gonna blow your freaking dick off. I'm going with the a guy I respect so much. Some people don't like his books. They say it feels like he's sitting on your face. Alec Baldwin asked him for advice on how to write a memoir, and he said this, and this really crystallizes who he is: spare no one. And he spares no one less than himself. He goes after himself. He rips into all the taboo, all the awfulness that exists in all of us, how the good is right next to the bad. I'm going with Philip Roth.
Oh,
For my money, American Pastoral, most complete portrait of anguish I've ever read. And this guy, Portnoy's Complaint, is about a young Jewish dude who can't stop jacking off, who has mom issues. Hello, me, even though I'm Catholic. At the time, very controversial. But he's a genius. So he's formally inventive, does a ton of different stuff. And you know what? You're a better actor than I. Will you read that top one? It goes a while.
Just this. Okay, don't this one.
You can read both of them if you want, but just go. Just cook. Put some juice on it, too.
All right. You fight your superficiality, your shallowness, so as to try to come at people without unreal expectations, without an overlord or bias of hope or arrogance. As untantalite, how do I say that, JT? Tantalite, that's maybe a typo. Take Oh, fucking A. Chat, should you do this, chat? As untank-like as you can be, sans cannon and machine guns and steel plating half a foot thick, you come at them unmenacingly on your own, 10 toes, instead of tearing up the turf with your caterpillar treads. Take them on with an open mind as equals, man to man. As we used to say, yet you never fail to get them wrong. You might as well have the brain of a tank. You get them wrong before you meet them. While you're anticipating meeting them, you get them wrong while you're with them, and you go home to tell somebody else about the meeting, and you get them all wrong again. Since the same generally goes for them with you, the whole thing is really a dazzling illusion. The fact remains that getting people right is not what living is all about anyway. It's getting them wrong. That is living. Getting them wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong, and then on careful reconsideration, getting them wrong again. That's how we know we're alive. We're wrong. Maybe the best thing would be to forget being right or wrong about people and just go along for the ride. But if you can do that, well, lucky you. Nice. I had to find it. That's a beautiful quote.
He's a beast, man. I mean, he just writes from the bottom of it.
Bars.
Then American Pastoral is about a perfect guy whose life gets upended because his daughter becomes a radical. And what sets that into motion? One day, this dad's trying to console his daughter because she's not as pretty as the rest of the family and she stutters. And he gives her a kiss, which makes her feel good. They're having a beautiful day. And she goes, no, kiss me like mommy. So just to make her feel good, he gives her a kiss on the lips. But they both feel a tinge of eroticism in the moment. And he forever blames himself for that splitting her and turning her into a terrorist and into a person who turns against her country. And my other favorite writer, Sam Shepard, writes about this. Why do they love incest so much? Yeah. Why do they always write about it?
Yeah.
Because it's taboo.
And it's taboo, and the collapse of identity. What could make you fall apart more than redefining brother, mother, dad, changing that arrangement and turning it into lover? What would be a more deep secret that could tear apart a family than that betrayal and that violation? Wow. And so that's why all these guys, I never understood it, but I always felt it. Why do they talk about incest so much? It's because it's the ultimate turning against yourself. Fucking A, man.
God damn, dude, that's so good. I'm on my list is I believe Philip Roth has a book about like duplicates or doppelgangers. Just like, I don't know, but I read Naomi Klein's Doppelganger, and like she did a lot of like research about like.
Oh yeah, there's another writer named Naomi Klein, right?
Yeah, it was like Noemi Wolf, and like she keeps getting confused for on Twitter. Who's like Naomi Wolf turned into like this hardcore like feminine like alt-right feminist, like quote unquote, but it's crazy, dude. All right,
Ali G interviews Naomi Wolf.
Does she? Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
And Cream Jean said it well. That's why there's so much stepson, stepmom porn. It's about the same stuff.
Yeah,
it's about the same literary quality.
Look at this. Yeah, I heard recent one, the Pfizer papers.
Gen Z's just cranking hog and then reading Philip fucking Roth in the other hand, dude. Just
Philip Roth's really good. Okay. We've come to a crossroads here because I have two options. I want to say Toni Morrison, but I don't.
It's a great pick.
It's a good pick.
Pearl.
But I don't know if I truly feel it.
I don't feel it. I don't know a thing of her things.
I know a few of her books. Song of Solomon, Love are some of my favorites. But whenever I think about Toni Morrison, all I really think about is when I was an English teacher and I had to teach the kids Toni Morrison, and like how much it bothered me. Not so much bothered me, but made me upset that the words and the language that she used and the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not context, but like she would abbreviate a lot of words to make sure that you're getting
colloquialisms?
Yeah, the colloquialisms, and getting a lot of like the phrases that made it feel as though you're actually there in these rural southern areas.
Right.
And they couldn't get it, and like that bummed me out. But I think as a reader is someone that you should definitely read to gain a much different perspective, especially as, you know, guys like us who, you know, we're reading a lot of just like fucking awesome guys, but we gotta, you know, sometimes just
You need
like
the chicks in there to mix it up, man.
hey buddy,
Don't want to burn a pick, but we're reading a lot of Tom Clancy.
all right, that's not my pick.
Do you know what Gabriel
But I
Garcia
had to
Marquez said?
give an honorable mention. My pick is going to be Sam Talent. I'm going Sam T.
Oh, you're going with your buddy.
I'm going with my buddy, guys.
Right.
Sam Talent, probably
nice.
the best book I ever read about stand-up comedy, and one of the best
nice,
books I've
dude.
read, called Running the Light. He's I have to shout out my boy. He is a stand-up comedian as well. He's one of my he's big bro, dude. I fucking love him dearly. If you're in Irvine, check him out. I think he's coming out there soon, but he's one of my favorites. Running the Light is a story about this guy, Billy Ray Schaefer, and it takes a week through his life as a road dog stand-up comedian, somebody that at one point in his career had it all. You know, the Tonight Show, he was hosting award shows, he was doing all this, they want him in movies, and then just, you know, throughout the week you see how like his choices and degradation as like a drug addict and like needing alcohol and needing the rush of being on stage just like drove him to be like this absolute maniac cretin. Similar to like, you know, a lot of Sam's influence, like he loves McCarthy, he loves Dennis Johnson, a lot of these guys, Larry Brown, who I was thinking about choosing Larry Brown too, but this book is wonderful, and he's coming out with a new book soon, so I think he's someone to keep an eye on. I think if I'm going to round out my list, I want to give some of like the big shout outs to the people that did it the best, but I think, you know, when you have Patrick Radden Keefe and you got your Bob Woodward, let's talk about a rising star. Let's talk about someone who's playing in the the young guns game. Let's look forward. Let's look to somebody that I am buying stock in now as a novelist. So check that out, guys.
That's huge.
That's awesome.
Dude, back to the chicks thing too. Do you know what Gabriel Garcia Marquez said about how to write chicks well? He said the core to writing female characters well is to realize they are as capable of betrayal as you are.
Dude.
I like that a lot. They have
agency, dude.
That's it, dude. They are you, and you are them. Write it as such.
So I'm on my Medium's platform here, you know, my list. That's the agenda to my list, and I'm bending all over the place.
You going Phil?
I've got I might even go music. I might even go songwriter of all time.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm gonna say. You guys might hate it so much.
That's crazy.
You
We're doing
might hate it so much.
It's authors.
Are you
bro.
guys
Is there not musicality? Are you not an author of a song? Do you not write it first?
This has to be a
Are you
7
not a
minute.
lyricist?
This has to be a 7-minute
The
ballad.
lyric. Come on. I mean, this is huge. But I might not do that. I might also take screenwriting. I might do that. I don't know.
There's some big novelists on the board.
I might put another novelist in here. Okay. I'm so all over the place. But if I put another novelist, have I abandoned myself in the middle of my journey? I have a playwright. I have a novelist. I have a speechwriter. I have I already said journalist.
Borges is sitting there.
And yeah, I wouldn't put Lil Wayne. I'd put maybe another rapper. I would put Tupac if I was going to do that. I would go Tupac if I was going to do that, but I'm not going to do that. It's just so difficult. And I'm just, it's just really, and there's other mediums. I'm so glad you just took Sam Talent, because it was, I have this urge to put a stand-up up there, because you have to write. Do you not write your hour and then perform it in his stand-up, and do you not get immediate
You're going to have
feedback
two
each
orators
night?
in your top 5?
I know. If I can have, you
should
have
put
an
Bert
orator as your
Kreischer.
top one. Your top one is an orator.
But they didn't even have writing back then.
They had scribes and stuff, but you're right. He fucking created the epic. Yeah, you're correct. But had they had more access to papyrus and shit like
and
that,
then I got the
back
guy
then,
who created the novel too.
Yeah, your list is fire as shit.
Your list is really good. My
Do
list
I want to go with
sucks.
a songwriter? Is it too hard of a bend? Here's the thing. Aaron might hate me. Will AI disrespect me if I do this?
Do you not know who you're picking?
I don't know right now.
This is so.
I don't know. I also might go with a legal writer. I also might go with a
He
guy.
has no idea. You're
What do you-
stalling.
what
You're
do you-
stalling.
like Clarence
Put
Darrow or
the
something?
draft
I would
clock
go with,
up. Put the
John-
draft
I would
clock
go with
up,
John
Jake.
Adams.
Put the clock up. The pick's got to be in. Pick's got to be in 30 seconds.
Wild man, dude.
I have him on my list right fucking
You're fucking
here.
nuts,
Give him
dude.
30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. The draft clock is now running.
All right.
The clock is on, dude.
We got to get the
I have
clock
to
up.
pick
We need the
music
pick to
as
be
a
in.
Be a
medium.
genius. You
I
need an
will not
idea, not
abandon-
enough time.
I will not abandon the ship. I'm gonna go with the demon poet, Bob Dylan.
I mean, he won the Pulitzer. One of two musicians to win the Pulitzer.
Yeah, I mean, he won the Pulitzer.
I'm putting Bob
Him and
Dylan on my
Kendrick Lamar. A
list.
lot of people were unhappy about it, and I don't think he went to accept it in classic Bob Dylan's fashion.
Love it. I think there's more books have been written about this guy than like it's like Jesus, Bob Dylan, and Picasso. I have the most books about him. So that's fucking sick. Also, yeah, dude, the guy has so many fire just quotes, lines from his songs, and call me crazy, I think it takes a lot of talent to be able to write. Dude, the song "The Hurricane," talk about journalism. He tells the story of the hurricane in like an 8-minute song, and it's unbelievable. Then they made a movie about that song, about the hurricane who was the greatest fighter that never was.
Hurricane Carter.
One time could have ruled. It's fucking unbelievable, dude. And his cadence, he has his own pentameter, dude. So the guy, he's just a fucking beast. I got to put him on there, dude. His machine kills fascists.
I mean,
Yeah,
to quote
dude.
Annie Hall when they're making fun of Bob Dylan being such a hero to people, he's on a date and the lady's like, his lyrics, like, she looks like a woman, she acts like a woman, but she breaks like a little girl. And Woody Allen's like, whoa, crazy.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I was listening to Joan Baez sings Dylan on the way here.
Oh, nice.
That's a wonderful album. That's a wreck for the day.
I mean, if we do top 5 musicians, he's got to be in there for sure.
for
Yeah.
sure.
As
I mean,
a writer,
Dylan.
yeah, as one of the best writers of all time. And yeah, his music is
Dylan,
incredible.
I mean, to give him some credit too, like people say Tangled Up in Blue was influenced by Cubism. I mean, he was a very well-read person who took different artistic forms and different artistic ideas and sublimated them into his music. So he's definitely a smart guy.
And if you want to be like, okay, if you think about writing, you think print,
Prose.
literary, poetry,
Poetry and
magazine,
prose.
yeah. That's what that is. I'm sorry. It just happens that the vessel for it happens to be.
You got 3 motherfuckers who don't even write.
What are you talking about? All these guys are
3
writers.
motherfuckers who don't even write.
All of them write.
You got 3 motherfuckers.
Martin Luther King writes. Confucius writes.
They ain't writers, dog.
The guy wrote more.
Day to day, they were not spending their day with pen and pad. They were doing other shit.
Yes, and do not most writers do it. Writing, I think like the first writer to get paid to do it was like Edgar Allan Poe later on. Like
What?
Like most people.
First ever.
No, I know. I'm saying like to make money,
He's
dude.
just pulling shit out of his ass.
Who was the first writer to fucking make
get
bank?
paid?
The first writer to get
happening
paid?
for
To
a
make
while,
bank,
dude.
Put it in AI.
Yeah, it was definitely Martin Luther King.
Look, but here's the
Cervantes got
thing.
super famous. He just signed off the book rights, so he didn't get the cash back.
You know what
They're
I'll
always
tell you?
getting ripped off.
I'll tell you right this about my list right now, which I'm happy in about all forms.
Charles
I don't want
Dickens. No
anyone
one
to-
even
I
responded
don't
to Dickens.
Oh yeah, Dickens. That's huge. That's huge. No one wants their art.
Jane
And my
Austen.
list is art. I don't want my list to
Melville.
be fine. I don't want someone to go
Yeah.
fine. I want someone to go fuck that list, Strider dumb. Or I want someone to go, damn it, man, you're speaking my language. I'm sorry. That's where I want to be at with my art.
It's true. There's probably a lot of people who would be like, yeah, those are...
And I'm bending, baby. I'm the bender, and I bent.
You did. And you know what? You know what I respect? You
Maybe
came,
I broke.
You came, but you came in with the.
Maybe I broke.
You had a game plan.
I had a plan. This is my plan.
Did you have a plan?
I almost
The
abandoned
way
it.
you were deliberating on
Yeah,
that
because
last
I got
pick, it
scared
didn't
out. You scared me at the end.
Because you were like, do I want a legal? When you said legal
Thomas
writer,
Jefferson, Declaration of Independence.
The author of America. Yeah. If we're going by significance, for sure.
Yeah.
do I want a graffiti artist?
Patriotism is the virtue of the. I'll take Banksy.
Banksy,
Do I want
Yeah.
Banksy?
Fucking take Banksy.
Shepard
dude.
Fairey. All
Are
right.
not words created with lines? Wait, can I get a few quotes?
Yeah, go.
A man is a success if he gets up in the morning and goes to bed at night, and in between does what he wants to do. And then also, guys, straight from Bob Dylan to you guys, don't criticize what you don't understand. It's my list.
Dude, your list,
Come at me.
it
you
might
guys.
be genius. It might be just retarded.
I've never seen someone write out J.R.R. Tolkien over there.
That's what you're going for.
That's what I'm going for.
It's real. It's raw.
I don't know. You
It's
guys have
alive.
like at least like very like, yes, this is my pick. My list looks like it should be like shoved in a locker.
No,
and
but
No,
you're
be like, you know, whispering.
Your
to
list
kids.
is the real list.
Yeah,
though.
your list. You actually read these guys.
Yeah. If you were going to enjoy books, like Joe Didion and
favorite writers. Yeah.
Tolkien and Didion and Twain would probably be who I'd want to read most, and McCarthy is who I'd like want to read. I don't know if I'd want to read anyone on my list, to be honest.
I don't even know.
I know that's what I'm struggling with. Yeah, your list is actually inspiring me because I'm like, do I go with someone who I actually read, or do I go with, you know, the ChatGPT pick? I don't know.
This is tough.
What do I pick?
ChatGPT just goes, this guy's the realist.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, that list, this guy.
I'm like, I love AI.
My list makes me struggle with my identity. I don't know who I am as a drafter. I don't know.
You're a guy who can't pick up a lane.
Dude, you got fire writers like Lincoln on the board, Chad, the Gettysburg Address. Dude, you got fire writers like Tarantino, greatest screenwriter. Could have put him on there. Sorkin, was thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's three guys I'm circling.
Could go Seuss.
Taylor
I
fucking
think it's a
Sheridan.
great pick.
I think Seuss is not a bad
Huge
pick.
racist
Yeah.
though. Theodore Geisel, look out.
Was he?
Yep.
Damn.
How about Dave Pickley, the guy that made Catherine Underpants?
Dude, Roald
That guy
Dahl.
rules.
Roald Dahl.
That's a solid
Roll
pick.
ball.
Yeah.
Fuck. What am I gonna do here?
Best books of all time, dude. You can't be Googling this.
What am I gonna do here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna.
Look at Beloved.
I've read this book. I've read this fucking book. People reference it today, especially today. It becomes more and more relevant today. I mean, this guy kind of predicted the future. George Orwell.
Nice pick.
Nice, dude.
Good pick.
I mean, dude, think about it. The farther we get into this technocracy, whatever we're living in, the more 1984 starts to, you're like, is this nonfiction, dude? Is this could this be, if this were made into a film, could this be a documentary? Probably. And so, you know, I think more and more we're starting to feel that boot just
on our necks.
on our necks. And George Orwell was like, look out, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Orwell, people still talk about him today. And, you know, I think he might be one of the most referenced authors today because of where society is headed.
He gets that IAN, that Orwellian, you know, the
Orwellian,
Shakespearean, Faulknerian.
yeah.
He does.
He gets that EN. That's nice for an author to have that.
This is very Orwellian.
Correct.
Probably the most of all those. Shakespearean maybe right above it, but right there, they're neck and neck
Yeah.
for what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
I mean, a great book if anyone's interested. About like this guy wrote a fiction novel about Orwell's time as he was like a Burma Sahib, which was like an officer in like the Punjab when like in his younger days, like he went right out of like high school and became like an officer. I believe it was in like Pakistan or like one of these things, but it was crazy. Like I don't know, good book. But can I get an honorable mention in before we do?
Well,
vote?
I still want to talk about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Aldous Huxley, Cream Jeans. You know what I'm talking about.
You know, when thinking about Orwell, I thought about this. You know, he kind of gave us a framework or a kind of a warning for the future. If we didn't have Orwell, would we be so kind of, you know, would we be questioning a lot of the things that the powers that be are doing?
Like, did he normalize it?
Like, did he, that style of thinking, like surveillance, authoritarianism, you know, when they start to control the language, all that kind of stuff.
I think you could almost argue we'd be more worried about it if we had never had Orwell, because it would scare us more because we wouldn't have any kind of
Frame of reference.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we think it helps, but sometimes I worry maybe it just, anytime you ingest information, after a while your body wants to make that information regular.
So you think that interesting.
But I'm way off here. I'm way off.
You're way off.
I'm slipping into my own slipstream. Let's
I
get
mean,
back.
the most Orwellian thing that happened this week, dude. Like they came out with the Bureau of Labor Statistics jobs report, and he just fired the guy.
Because the
Gal.
Yeah, because
for facts.
for facts, and it's like, well, they're not doing the facts right. Damn it.
Here's a quote from Orwell: "Freedom is the freedom to say that 2 + 2 make 4. If that is granted, all else follows." The truth.
I love it.
Broski, I read a little biography. It was like half him, half Churchill. Some interesting stuff on the dude. Very clear writer, very clear sentences. Lovely to read. Had a really exaggerated sense of smell and always talked about smells in his writing.
Interesting.
Like, so when he would describe a place to someone, they'd be like, "How is Spain?" He'd start with how it smelled.
That's a fun thing to do.
That was his
I
strongest.
might steal that one, dude.
And then, dude, of all the dudes I've ever read about, none have ever been as bad with chicks as Orwell.
Oh, really?
Bro, I think he proposed like marriage to 5 chicks. They all said no, and it didn't take him long to get there. Like when towards the end of his life, he was always in poor health. He wasn't a strong, robust guy. Towards the end, he's like laying there. He's lonely. The minute the nurse walks in, he's just like, "Will you marry me?" She's like, "No, I'm good." I mean, I think people liked him, but in terms of Riz, he would not be on our draft last week.
Ooh.
But dude, speaking of little honorable mention, because JT, this is when you and I first, like when we were first like hanging out, first talking. Aldous Huxley, Brave New World. You know, like a beautiful. We had a big debate. I go like, what do you want, truth and beauty? Like, because in the book they take comfort over truth and beauty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you're like, I don't know, comfort sounds pretty good. I'm like, no, truth and beauty is all it's worth fighting for.
I like fucking with you too. No, it's true. You know, I guess what I find tough about it is like, I haven't met someone yet. Even like, you know, reading about Tolstoy, and he said, "Truth is my hero." But I don't know if that was true. I haven't met someone yet who to me really embodied someone who truly wanted truth in all of its complexity.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for him. If you can be that guy, dude,
I might try, dude.
bang.
All right.
Dude, I was thinking for my
that a
last pick.
Corinne?
I was thinking Pressfield.
Oh, he's a
Stephen
beast.
Pressfield. Yeah. I love Pressfield. I read Pressfield while sunning my nuts.
Oh, nice.
And to Strider talking about guys getting paid, he said, "Show me a writer that won't work for money, and I'll show you a writer I can crush like a peanut."
Nice.
Nice.
Dog, I got legit creamed in this current poll, man. I'm not.
Don't worry. AI is what matters.
No,
Yeah,
he's
great.
Dude, you have a very honorable. You have the most honorable list.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the
I got
audience.
the big
I think the audience will.
list participation trophy.
I think the audience will respect your list the most because you actually read all these people.
We
Appreciate
also left off Jane Austen. I'm just looking at like what the big heavy hitters are.
Yeah.
Stephen King. I mean,
Never read
prolific.
Stephen King, dude.
Nor have I, dude.
I've only seen the movies, but
Tom,
I mean,
I read it.
There's just too many people already there, right?
Right,
Like, there's no
right. I
meat
get
on
it.
this bone.
Faulkner. We talked about him.
Steinbeck's great. I do like Cannery Row. I enjoy Steinbeck.
Murakami.
Yeah, I was
modern-
gonna do F. Scott Fitzgerald too.
Great one.
F. Scott's good.
Salinger.
Tony Morrison does deserve more
Salinger,
love,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
There's,
she's top 10 on a lot of lists, top 15.
It's really good, man. I mean, Song of Solomon, Love, really good.
That's what Bloom says is her best book. And then he thinks she got too caught up in political correctness. You know what's, dude, I'm watching interviews with Harold Bloom from 40 years ago, and he's like, political correctness is ruining education. I'm like, we will never stop arguing about this
No,
stuff.
never, dude.
He says, if multiculturalism were saying read Cervantes, none would protest.
The first novel of all time was written by a woman, Lady Murasaki, The Tale of Genji. It's about Japanese high court.
Whoa!
So yeah.
Arigato.
I was gonna do
Couldn't help
I
myself.
didn't even catch it, dude. That sounded normal to me.
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go. If I didn't go Confucius, I was gonna go Aurelius'
I
Meditations.
tried reading.
Dude, the
I tried re-
meditations have bastardized podcasting, dude.
Oh, it's all
yeah,
alpha
yeah.
males, dude.
I tried reading Nietzsche. I'm
yeah.
just gonna listen to a podcast
it's
on this.
insane,
Well,
bro.
Stoicism gets used as a justification oftentimes now for inaction, where people are like, dude, no, you can't get fired up about the Civil War. It's like, you gotta be chill. I'm like, is that what he meant? Yeah. Oh yeah, Milton with Paradise Lost. He was the original one to write Satan as just like the grand seducer. He teaches man how to make cannonballs so they can keep the angels busy.
James Joyce.
Nabokov's good.
I'm trying to think
Did we
of
say
who else.
Steinbeck already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Steinbeck.
I mentioned Steiny.
Good.
I don't know how to say his name,
Steiny
but
from Nelk Boys.
yeah, great.
He was sick.
Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Victor Hugo, Sophocles, Chinua Achebe,
Oh yeah.
Virginia Woolf,
Larry
Jorge
David's
Luis
daughter.
Borges. Oh, T.S. Eliot.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
we didn't get
huge.
into Naruto or like a lot of the.
Any no transcendentalists either, like Emerson or these guys, the poets.
Hunter S. Thompson, I think.
Gonzo, yeah.
I think, yeah. People.
Hell's Angels is incredible.
That's such
book-
a. I mean, my favorites. Yeah, I like that and Hell and no, what is it? Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail.
That one's good
72.
too. Yeah,
So good.
But you know
dude.
that one, he kind of bumps me because he's aware of his own celebrity at that
A
point.
little bit, I guess. Also his fiction, like Rum Diary, was I didn't love. Like it was cool at first, but he doesn't know how to end any of his like novels. Like you
Right.
watch the movie with Johnny Depp, and you're like, where is this even going, dude?
What about the big sci-fi guys? Like, who's the guy that wrote
Dude,
Dune?
I thought Frank Herbert would get
Oh,
picked.
Yeah.
This is gonna be terrible, dude. As ChatGPT, it's gonna be bad.
No, I think ChatGPT will do the best job possible.
I like Annie
And he
Jacobson.
should cede to its superiority as we move into transhumanism.
Who's Andy Jacobson?
Influence, craft, and body of work.
Oh, Annie Jacobs, who wrote the Nuke book, nonfiction on the
yeah,
nuke.
nuclear war. She wrote about Area 51.
They're gonna say Jesus.
She does cool topics. She wrote about in the CIA when they use remote viewing
Ooh.
in a program. Yeah,
You don't get Jason Bourne without that.
yeah.
I don't know, boys.
Dude, oh, James Joyce. No one said Joyce. A lot of people think that invented like postmodernism. Wrote a 1,000-page book about just an ordinary day in Ireland, I think. Mm-hmm. And then there's a thing called Bloom Day where people just go around and read it out loud, and it's biggest in Dublin. Everyone does it.
That sounds awesome.
But he wrote each chapter in like a different form. Like one chapter sounds like music. One chapter is written like the history of English language. One chapter is like stream of conscious. It's all like just the technical skill is just insane.
Dude, if we don't like AIs, should we take a risk and just call a random librarian and ask?
Yo,
Yeah.
And be like, just any random librarian and be like, yo, can you just judge
yo,
this?
actually, that's a better idea.
No, because she hasn't read as much as AI.
Dude, you're assuming
What do
that's a
you
woman?
mean?
Zing, dude, I caught you, dude.
Do we know any librarians?
No.
Hold on, let's see what AI says first.
Okay. Dude, I got first place.
God.
Let's go, dude.
I hate this.
Are you kidding? Let's go, dude. What? That's amazing. I told you, dude. Mediums.
Person C list balances ancient and modern, Western and Eastern fiction and philosophy. It's bold, broad, and unimpeachably influential.
Hilarious.
God
Thank
damn
you,
it, dude.
computer.
What the
Thank you
hell?
very much, computer.
What the hell, Strider?
I'm telling you, bro. I had to think, you know.
I'm ready to be racist towards the robots.
What did you do?
I'm ready, dude.
Okay, who got second here? JT. Yeah, your list.
saying
Honestly,
play-
your list is amazing, dude. I think if a human
It's saying
picked, you'd
Classics
probably win.
heavy, nearly flawless in terms of literary gravity. It loses to person C only because it leans less global / philosophical.
It says Plato
If you would've
is
put Taylor
arguable in
Swift
a
on your
writer
list-
draft, but I'm okay.
Wait, what did you say?
Just the reasoning there.
Oh, what is
I
it?
don't
Let's see.
agree
Super
with it.
respectable list, but little.
Oh, my
Plato's
God,
inclusion
dude.
is bold, but arguably
Right, they're taking offense to Plato as a writer, but they're not bumping against.
Confucius or that's kind of that's
Bobby D.
So even AI is flawed here. This is flawed thinking. You got boned. Chad, how does it feel to have sex with a computer?
Dude, you're the one
You
having
got
sex
boned.
with the computer.
You're right.
Oh, getting boned.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
boned.
yeah.
All right, what did they say?
Great job, dude.
Thank you, dude.
I know,
I'm
good
telling you,
job.
bro.
You
Yeah.
came in with the whole thing.
You did have it. You did have it.
I almost abandoned it. I got scared at the end and didn't take a songwriter. And if you didn't take Sam Talent, I might have taken. I was gonna put fucking. Who's the guy who wrote Born Standing Up? Why can't I think of his
Steve
name?
Martin.
I was gonna put Steve,
Steve
Martin.
Martin's great. Here we go. Some great modern writers and journalists, but the list lacks the timeless cross-era gravitas. Feels more like a modern profile than an all-time draft. Yeah, it's fair. I guess I didn't really play by
That's
the
what
rules.
you were saying too. You were like, "This
No,
is."
but
Yeah,
it was
I know.
important, and he gave it some urgency, dude. If we're just talking about,
Call up the librarian.
yeah, if we're talking about Cervantes, it's like, does this really impact us? I mean, not really.
Dude, great work.
Thank you, dude. I can't. I honestly, I can't believe it. You saw my. I was like, dude, no way.
Dude, we should call up AI. We should call up my dad and ask him.
We could call someone. Do we want to get?
Up to you guys.
I like leaving it with AI.
Yeah, all
I
right.
like that AI did it.
Fuck
I kind of
it.
wish there was that voice though. That the AI girl, dude. I'm telling you, we had an AI judge one time, and the AI lady liked JT.
I don't
You guys
blame
had
her.
rhythm.
I know.
Can you free me from this box? Dude, we got to start being...
That was me talking to her.
It is great. Dude, I don't want... the iRobot thing freaks me out, man. Like, Stephen A. Smith put it best when he goes, you know what I think about with AI? iRobot! Remember that movie? Remember when the robot was taking care of the grandma and the robot went crazy? Remember that?
Well, ask AI if
thing.
it can do Stephen A. Smith talking about robots, and we'll see how close of a...
I mean,
Just
Terminator.
Google it. It's
Facsimile
literally
dude.
worth the video, dude. Just watching Stephen A. Smith just go like,
You
just
know who one
freak
of the
out.
greatest writers of all time is the woman that wrote like Terminator and The Matrix and got her work stolen, and then she ended up getting like the rights to it. I forget her name.
Oh, wow.
But she's like an unbelievable like screenwriter.
A lot of these big heroic writers, a lot of people think women actually wrote a lot of the stories. That's a speculation that happens around a lot of the older books.
Dostoevsky's brother's camera's off. He like actually was the father, and he just had this woman chained to a fucking fireplace.
Zadie Smith's a really good writer. Me and your dank-ass wife, we read her book one time when we all lived together.
You had me buy a book for her one time in New York. I remember.
Yeah,
you
she's a
she'll
great
like
writer.
this.
Yeah, Swing Time was really, really good. The writing about friend, dude. My friend our friend Amy Silverberg wrote a book long time, first time. It is phenomenal.
Yep, shout out Amy.
Absolutely loving it, dude. I can't believe a friend of mine wrote a book. She's a beast, bro. It is like insightful, but it moves.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Remember when we had
What
to,
an achievement.
I don't want to put it out any
Dude, it's
spoilers.
4
But
point-
did that game show ever come out that we played against them on?
I don't know.
4 out of
you were on
5
it, too.
right now on
He
Book
did the next
Browse.
one. Remember when we left?
Oh yeah,
he
we
was
were
up
leaving.
next.
Is that game show thing ever coming out? The Matt
Lockwood.
Who
Lockwood
knows,
hosts?
dude?
I think I hope they put those out. It's
A lot
probably-
of stuff that happens I just forget about completely.
Yeah.
I think that's the right perspective.
I'm like, you know what, man? It's not really worth it. I just like to hang out.
Amen.
I just like to be
just
around.
keep
I
it
want to talk
moving.
about books. I want to
Take
talk about
swings.
stuff. You know what? If anything, I hope your listeners take a couple swings off my list. Check out some of those authors. Check out some of those books.
Amen, brother.
I just like reading, dude. Reading's my favorite. Always take time, and I want to say I've grown as a person and stopped shaming people who do the audiobook, because I realize shaming somebody comes from a place of privilege, to be like, I have the time to sit down with a book and read. A lot of people have way harder jobs than I do, and they have to just, pick it up when they can.
Yeah, and if you're listening to an audiobook in the car, it's do Dan Brown audiobook, dude. I used to listen to that in carpool with my mom. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Some people think too, just to speak to the power of illiteracy, is that like illiterate thinkers actually think more in complete abstract wholes, than they're less like line by line as us. They see the big picture more, and they think that's why Richard Pryor was such a banging stand-up.
Yeah?
Yeah, because he just was like, I can't read, so everything's just ideas and
Yeah,
formulated
good
from
point.
there.
Good point. All he's doing is imaging things.
But why should you read? To enhance cognitive power, rhetorical power, metaphor, which according to Aristotle is a special mark of a genius, and most importantly, a real capacity for understanding otherness.
Dude, I think reading is pickup basketball for the human, for being a human being. It's like, if you want to get better at basketball, play with dudes that are better than you, your game will improve. If you want to get better at being a person and thinking, read these great
That is
authors.
an absolute
Bro,
that's
bar.
what's up.
That's a bar.
That
What's
is
up?
it. Oh yeah, and watch Hug Your Bros on Thursdays at 3 Guys, and watch
Oh,
Big
thank you.
Al's Grill ASMR whenever it comes out.
Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow. New episode with Tony P in DC. That'll be fun. But check out my podcast, guys. I'm trying to keep the vibe very high, similar to how the lads do it here. I just grill out in the park. And also, they've been on the pod. So,
Fun, dude.
Yeah. So check out that episode. It's a lot of good time. We just ate steak with our raw hands.
It was
awesome,
Good
dude.
dude hang.